In a world of uncertainty and turmoil, one man stands alone, along with his faithful sidekick. A man who entertains and educates the masses weekly, 70% of the time. Born out of the dusty plains of Washington State, now from the coastal forests of Oregon. The man, the myth, the man, G23.
So, welcome on to Saturday Evening Chats. This is episode 74, and I'm going to thank Mr. DM Foss for designing that, and welcome the co-host extraordinaire, Mr. Foss.
Good evening.
First in tonight, we had Mr. Rob D., the New York Outcast. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, I'm just the extra. Don't mind me. Thanks for joining us.
So, I know Guns and Gadgets, Jared was talking earlier today about VCDL, Virginia Citizen Defense League. I believe that's the exact, where a Democratic organization decided to slander them and call them a domestic terrorist organization. And they decided they were going to push back and say, you know what, we're not going to take this. And they have decided to sue. VCDL sues CSGV for libel. Is what I'm going to pull up their actual screen so everyone can see. This is the Virginia Citizens Defense League, and it says back on June 9th, VA alert item talked about how the Coalition to Stop Gun Violence libeled VCDL and its members, saying VCDL is a domestic terrorist organization in a press release. That press release was published in the media, spreading the defamation. So that is kind of glad that now some of these 2A organizations and 2A companies are getting tired of just sitting back and letting things happen. They're actually going to start pushing back and fighting. We got to do that more often.
Definitely a good thing. It's a strong label to be thrown around there. So hopefully it works out. Unfortunately, with the political climate, I don't necessarily have too much faith, or even if it does, what's actually going to take effect might work out for them. But in the long run, I'd still be skeptical, but that's just me. Yeah, definitely. I'll just, I'd be fighting back somebody, I don't know, I can, whatever. Seems decent, so it's what you should do. Hopefully it just doesn't turn out to be a waste of money.
Yeah, I believe they're asking for $450,000 in their suit. I don't remember. Kind of trying to scroll and see. And they're quoting all of the stuff that this other group did. So yeah, it, I believe Jared was saying that they're suing for like $450,000.
Seems like something like that. I assume, with a broad stroke across them, which would also include their members. And it seems like a light amount to me. I would think it would be more, and then maybe they ended up in the end getting something close to that, but it does seem small in my opinion.
So, and it could just be that that's what the cap is, because certain things sometimes you can only sue for a certain X dollar amount, depending upon what your state policies are and stuff.
I forwarded the email they sent out to you. I don't know if you have it or not. Where they talk about the court case.
Yeah, the one that they sent out to the members.
Yeah.
So Rich White looks like he was first. DJ Play Nice, Gun Loving Grandpa, Mr. Nighthawk Medic is out in the crowd. TPC, Space Texan. So, welcome everybody.
I saw the big dog show up at your show.
Yep, gotta get them all out here. Yeah, I think that's the same, except maybe a couple little differences. It looks like that's pretty much the same press release that they have on their website.
Well, you two have faith in the courts. What do you think?
Now, depending on how long they want to play this out, I mean, because I believe Virginia falls under the 4th district. And if you go back to like some of the latest rulings from the 4th district, they're the only district that has gone and said, guess what? The bump stock ban was unconstitutional. So now, as in their lower courts, I'm not sure how their lower courts are set up and stuff. So I guess it would probably be a coin flip on which way it could end up. Now, if this was New York, I'd probably be I don't know. It's kind of like a toss-up, because if you look at what's it, the New York Pistol and Rifle Organization have been doing, they've been getting a lot of theirs pushed to the Supreme Court. Now, does the Supreme Court rule on anything? Well, if you go back to the last one that they actually started to make a ruling on, New York decided, hey, guess what? We were only joking. And so they then ruled that null and void, a moot point, because New York caved at the very last minute. So, and I completely understand why New York did it. Because then they can wait for a few and then reinstitute those same policies and just keep costing money. Okay, well, once it gets to the Supreme Court, we'll drop it again and go back to, saying it was our bad. So, and honestly, they've got a case sitting in front of the Supreme Court right now. And if it proceeds any further, I'm almost 90% sure New York's going to do the same thing. They're going to go, oh, our bad. We're going to start issuing some carry permits. And so they'll issue a few, and then they'll start infringing again and wait to be forced to go back to the Supreme Court. Now, does the Supreme Court go, you know what? We're seeing a pattern, so we're actually going to make a ruling, even if you change your policy? Who knows? Honestly, who really fucking knows?
Well, I'm just curious, if you can use your mind like that and follow that path, how the hell did you end up being a Glock guy?
I am a firearm guy. It's not that I'm like brand loyal. I guarantee you, anyone that puts a firearm in my hand and says, hey, this is yours, guess what? I'm just going to be like, okay, cool. It's going to go to the collection. So the day you decide you want to buy me an M&P, I'll add it to the collection.
How do they say? You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
That's right. I'm a cheap bastard. So I see we have Mario Molina out there. So welcome. So, I don't know. Next Saturday is the 20th anniversary of 9/11. So, it's like I'm torn. Do we do a show next Saturday? Or do we just take that day off to let everybody who decides they're going to, remember what happened 20 years ago that united America to become one before we ended up in the shit show that we're in the last 2 years?
It's your call, your show, man. I don't know why it would be a hindrance or whatever. So either way, personally, for me, it's more of a day to get pissed off, honestly. So that doesn't matter to me. Be a good rant and rave day, but more than likely nobody wants to hear it anyway. So it's up to you.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at. Is I know I'd have a hell of a good rant day because of all the bullshit.
Well, it might get your show shut down too, because if people want to be honest,
Right?
there's a lot of bullshit that happened. Even in the wars and everything to current day events, it gets pretty deep.
And then depending on if you go into the all your conspiracy theories about all of it, from beginning to end.
Some aren't necessarily conspiracy, though. Just to general public, or what's actually okayed by society, I guess. And then people just shut right the hell off and don't even want to hear about it. You're a nut.
Yep.
Even if you've seen shit with your own eyes, you're a nut.
Exactly. I don't know. I guess maybe we'll wait till next Saturday to go deeper into that topic.
Sorry.
Space Texan does have a good point. It is a day we can remember all the people that lost their lives senselessly on that day. So, I don't know. I know Rob's not a sports guy, so I'm not even going to bring up that college football
Sports ball.
has started.
I thought you were going to say another athlete dropped dead due to blood clots.
Who? CNN's reporting that GM is shutting down production at most of its plants in North America.
Lots of, from what I hear, lots of issues getting chips for some of the vehicles. And then also just as a whole, not just auto, but food distributors, a lot of people, there's gaps in the supply. So I've been kind of complaining about this for the last couple of weeks. I can't even find a bottle of Excedrin anywhere. Seems like all the stores are like that lately, where there's just, you can get like kind of what you're looking for, but it might not be your brand. And there's huge gaps everywhere in different sections. Maybe Foss can, I don't know, have better insight on this. From what I hear, the distributors are having issues filling their needs. So I don't know. We still have problems. That's what it seems like. Seems like
there has
things
been
are adding up all over the place.
It's not. It's real. It's really weird. Because there's kind of everywhere in the supply chain there seems to be problems. It was for a while they couldn't get the chemicals to make the jugs for milk or bottled water, so there was a shortage on that. I don't know where that's at now. There's still problems getting that in, and then like our warehouse had 100 cases of COVID, so they shut down for a week, and they're still not, the last word I got was they'll fulfill up to a certain amount, and then the rest of the order you made gets canceled. And it's God, like 40% of what you ordered, maybe. But it's it is weird because it's like some of the name brand stuff you can't get, but there's still the off-brand stuff available. And I don't know. It's just I've never seen anything. I've never seen it run quite like this. So it's hard to get a handle on what's going on.
Kind of matches up with what I've heard, which second hand and third hand. So I guess good to get your input on that.
So working,
maybe people in the chat might have seen similar things still, or have insight.
So working food manufacturing, it's really hard to find trucks to either bring you in products or to take your finished product out. And some of the stuff I've heard, if they keep pushing, about 40% of all the truckers in the United States are going to quit. Because they're being threatened that they may do a mandatory vaccine. And so when you would go to renew your DOT physical, you'd have to be able to show proof of vaccination, or you won't get your DOT physical until you are until you are vaccinated. And so a lot of them are saying, no, we'll shut our trucks down. And if we lose 40% of the trucks on the road, wait to see what happens. You think shelves are empty now? It's going to be a lot worse.
If there's a physical, it must be a wink and a nod to pass, because some of the drivers that I've known, there's no way in hell they'll pass a physical.
So when it's called when it's called a DOT physical, it's not truly like a physical that you would think of. Pretty much, they're just making sure that you're fit enough to not pass out behind the wheel of the truck. If you have like diabetes, that it's under control, that your sugar levels aren't spiking as high as, and putting you into a risk, or your blood sugars aren't dropping so low that you would then lose consciousness and kill people. So it's a lot different than, an actual physical you would have for playing sports or stuff like that. So I see we have Screaming Skull Saloon.
You got it.
And I'm I'm horrible at that name. So I know TPC used to drive truck. So he's laughing because I said it slow enough that I made sure I didn't screw up the name. So yeah, TPC could easily tell you what the DOT physicals are like.
Yeah, TPC seems to be one of those guys that has done a little bit of everything.
Sometimes you get bored in certain aspects of your life. Sergeant Joe Smith's out there. I guess he left Rob off the hello list. He says hello, heroes and Glock lovers.
Yeah, I see how it is.
So Kingpin says a DOT test is basically an eye test. I have taken plenty.
I know a guy that drove for years in New York, and he had issues with the test, I guess. It seemed like there was no issues, and then as soon as he had any health issues, I forgot what it was. I don't know if it was cholesterol or something. It's been a long time now. But he had to get like nonstop doctor's appointments, wear monitors, all types of shit, just to prove he was up. been capable for work. And to do that, it took him out of work. And so that was, it all worked out, but I know it wasn't longer than a year or two later. Basically, he couldn't legally drive anymore because of the physical. So, although, he's at the car show every weekend. So I don't, you know what I mean? The guy, you wouldn't know any difference, honestly. So he was pretty pissy about it, though. So, well, it's like ending his career, kind of. So I can't state, I don't know. And sure, maybe it's different in some places, or maybe it's more severe once you have something to watch for.
Yeah,
So,
I think
I don't
depends
know
upon
his
your health.
full medical history or anything. So,
like you're saying, I think it really depends upon what your health is. And then again, as you're younger, they're probably a little more passive. And after you hit a certain age, they start paying more attention to different things because, it's just the average. Because I know if you have...
To just add real quick that I do know the guy's what they call a snowbird, and he's back and forth to Florida like yearly, usually a couple times a year. Honestly, I don't know what but there's always something he's got to go back for. So he still drives a lot. It's but not commercially, I guess you could say. So it wasn't anything to obstruct his normal license. So I'll just add that on.
It affected his CDL. His commercial driver's license. And that's what Kingpin says. The test also depends on what class truck you are driving. So, yeah, I mean, if you have your hazmat and, different things like that, I know there's a lot more testing that's involved. So the more you add to your license, the more they're going to keep an eye on you. I know if you have sleep apnea, you have to take your machine in, or there's some of the newer machines that can hook up to like your phone, and then they can just get the digital readout of, like the past 6 months or whatever.
So basically, we still got a problem with the chain. Put things, shorten it up, I guess, because obviously there's gaps. Supplies aren't coming in like they should. Now they're talking about possibly a second round of lockdowns and all this. And we have people that are willing to say the hell with their job if they're forced into stuff. So where are we going to be in another 6 months?
So, and it's already started here in Oregon. There's some counties that have pretty much suspended nurses and firemen and EMTs for failing to get the jab, failing to comply.
Don't know if it's true, but I hear a lot of hospitals are saying there's issues with ICU beds and all this. Well, apparently it's not really the beds, it's the staff to maintain the beds, what I hear. So I can't, because of that very reason, that a lot of the medical staff refuses to gamble with this, modern solution they gave us.
Yes. I wasn't going to bring it up really on air, but I can tell you that a lot of these numbers have got to be super inflated because there's so many false positives that are being reported. And before people are like, "Oh, this is a conspiracy," on Monday, I went in and had a COVID test. I came back negative, and I was required to take a second COVID test within 72 hours, so within 3 days of the first one before I could return to work. I got a second negative test, and they're like, "Oh, well, now you're going to be put down as a presumptive positive, and you have to quarantine for 10 days." Wait a minute. I had 2 fucking negative tests. How am I now considered a positive? So now there's a number that says, "Hey, guess what? There's a new presumptive positive test," and you know that number's not coming back.
Did they say why you were considered presumptive positive?
Because I had come in contact with somebody who was a positive, and I had certain number of symptoms that qualified as a COVID factor. But 2 tests came back negative. And so now I'm waiting on the results of a PCR test, which takes 3 to 5 days. And I guarantee you it's going to come back as a negative.
I don't know. Seems like some crazy math to me.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of people that have started streaming on a Saturday afternoon. So there's definitely good options out there.
It's a hot time slot.
Yep. Bald and Curious came in hot, dropping links. So Carolina says, "Are they compensating you for being out of work?" No. This is all out of pocket. So
Basically, you have paperwork of 2 tests that come back negative in the last week, and you still can't return to work.
yes. Exactly.
But sounds like they're trying to kneecap you to me.
So yep. 2 negative tests, and they come back and say, "Oh, but you're a presumptive positive, so you have to quarantine for 10 days." It is serious bullshit. If I was closer, yeah, I'm probably going to have to find out, but as of right, what I know, no one has said, "Hey, you'll be getting paid for this." So, Rich says his kid got paid all 3 times they had to quarantine.
If your boss isn't willing to pay for that, knowing it's bullshit, you got the paperwork right there. Like, I'd be pissed.
What'd you say, woman?
Did you say somebody got paid 3 times?
Yeah, they had
Where did they get the money from?
their employer, I guess, paid them all 3 times. Carolina says, hell, at my work, if you've been in contact with someone, they will make you quarantine for 14 days, and we compensated. Also, if you are sick, do not come to work either. Yeah. So I was feeling under the weather on Monday. I think it was just like a serious like head cold. And so they're like, oh yeah, those are symptoms of it. So you need to test.
So what kind of shitty employer are you working for?
I work food manufacturing. But it's not the work that's, this is all
Well,
comes
yeah,
from
it's a
the,
system, but if the boss can sit there and stare at 2 tasks consecutive, I mean, and not, you got to pay your bills too. I mean, what the hell? Like they don't, and he needs workers. You would think like he's making a choice.
I don't know. For the employers,
I don't know.
they can end up kind of in a tough spot.
yeah, their hands are pretty
Because
well tied.
if there's a bunch of positive tests, they can end up being forced to shut down and then sanitize the whole facility.
Should get your whole family together there, you and the lady, and roll up over at work. When the boss goes home, you go home with him. And when he asks you what you're doing, say, well, I'm coming for dinner. And then maybe he'll spot you something.
Reading what Sergeant Joe Smith put on there, he says, Walmart, Bentonville, Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas Metro, 50K to 60K starting 4 weeks. Vacation 1 at Thanksgiving and 3 for Xmas and New Year's. So, yeah, I'm going to have to, really find out more. I know they were for a while. You were able to file unemployment if you were under quarantine. And so I got to talk with them.
Oh, the hell with that. By the time you put all that shit back in, you're back working. It's not the same wage. It's a bunch of paperwork and bullshit. Like, I don't understand that. That's stupid. If your employer is gonna be a blind idiot, then they should pay for it.
Yep. He says, I get there are risks, but there are risks also in crossing a street. You can literally get hit by a school bus crossing the street in a crosswalk, mostly in Portland, though.
Happens here all the time.
So, that's one thing with Oregon. They do a lot of crossing walk stings, so you don't want to be that idiot that decides not to stop for somebody who looks like they may want to cross the road, because you're going to end up with a hefty fine. So if there's a crosswalk and somebody looks like they may want to cross the road, you better just come to a stop.
I hate those times. It's always when I gotta be to work and I got stuck behind a damn bus and I didn't run people over like Rick or something, and you left early and then you get to that shit, and it's just, oh man, Some of that's just ridiculous. I've been places where, like, they'll just be walking by the crosswalk and people are just jacking the brakes, like sitting there waving them on, and they ain't even paying attention. They're not crossing, they're just walking. And you got to do this shit at every crosswalk. Like, give me a freaking break. Like, I understand pedestrians have the right of way, but some of this shit is ridiculous. I mean, you know, how do people get any work done around here? You know, like, it doesn't make any damn sense to me. So some of your niceness is more dangerous than the other way around.
So, Screaming Skull Saloon says, don't they have to physically step into the crosswalk? No. If they are standing at the corner and there's a crosswalk,
Pain in the ass.
you're stopping. You better lock your brakes up and let somebody rear end you, because it's just better.
It's conspiracy. Those towns got stocks in the brake companies. You know, it's what it's all about. The gas. Same thing with the red lights, right?
Yeah. Especially if they have those red light cameras.
There's one town in particular that bugs the hell out of me like that, and it happens like every time you go through. It's just annoying. Like, it's, you know, it honestly is.
So, Carolina EDC says jaywalking in South Carolina, I think, was a thing back in the days. Not sure about now. So, when my wife and I were in South Carolina in 2012 and 2013, you could be driving down the road and you could stop in motion for somebody to cross the road in South Carolina, and they were like, hell no, I ain't playing that game. I ain't going to be a moving target. You know, and it didn't matter if you were in a parking lot or not. They would just be like, nah, you keep on going and we'll cross after where there's a good spot. Or if you saw that they were going to cross, they would sprint like they were friggin' trying out for the U.S. track team.
Well, the person most responsible for your safety is you. I don't trust the drivers.
You shouldn't. I mean, if you want to play Frogger, go ahead, you know, but don't be shocked when you get your ass ran over. I mean, it's kind of common sense. That's one of the things that gets me the worst, is those people that feel like they're entitled or they're special, or they'll get in a crosswalk and just slow down and look at you and laugh, or like, I can't even tell you what I've done in those situations. They don't like it.
Yeah. But yeah, no,
And I'm a nice guy. Like, I truly am. So, but don't think you're special.
Back in early 90s, I almost got hit. A friend and I were in downtown Seattle, and it was kind of early morning. There wasn't, hardly any traffic, and we were crossing against the red, just chit-chatting. And the light, the crosswalk was green, but when we got up to it, it turned red, and we just kept going. And the guy that had walked past us the other way, I hear him yell, "Look out!" And we're about in the middle of the road, and my friend and I both stopped and turned around to look at him. And this 300Z goes whizzing by. I mean, within a foot of us, right?
I know who that was.
And so I don't cross on the red anymore after that.
Did you say that was in the 90s?
Yeah.
Okay, because if it was in the 90s, it wasn't me.
No,
early 2000s. Yeah,
unless you used to be black, it wasn't you.
Okay, good.
But I mean, the dude was probably doing 40. They never slowed down. But that was our fault. We were not being responsible.
Yep, I know Wheeled and Well Armed and Carolina EDC both have links out in the crowd. Rich White says it was Rob.
Rob wouldn't spend that much on
Nah.
the car.
Yeah, I'm not a dick on the. That's the thing. I'm not a dick, but when people, think they're special, that's where I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I got a 95. We'll see how far you want to take that. So, and I ran quite a few people up on the curb that try to cut over, sneak up on in the turn lane and zoom. It don't work like that. You can, like again, I shouldn't even talk on this, but that special shit. There's people like me that are happy to deal with that shit. So you gamble if you want to.
Mandatory Carry says, well, that was your first mistake, DM. You were in Seattle.
Well, we went up. My buddy's mom worked for Bank of America. So we went up to Seattle with her when she went to work, and then we walked around the city while she was working. Went up to the federal building and looked around until we started getting funny looks from the FBI guys. Then we left.
Yeah, that happens pretty quick at the federal buildings.
But the cafeteria at the Bank of America building was pretty good.
You know who has really good food in Seattle that you would not think?
Where?
Yeah, the hospital.
Oh.
The University of Washington Medical Center. Their cafeteria has got to be like a 5-star restaurant.
Well, she did treat us to the Metropolitan in Seattle. That was pretty good.
So, back in the day, it was 2001, and the wife and I were over in Seattle, and I was still 20. I wasn't even 21 yet. And we went into Ivers down by the Seattle Aquarium. And we went into the bar area, ordered a few drinks, ate dinner and stuff. Walk out of Ivers, and here's 3 cops standing out there. And I'm like, oh, shit. Minor in consumption right then and there.
Well, they probably didn't
That
even really look at you. It's Seattle.
Yeah, they didn't. One of the officers held the door open because we opened it, and he just grabbed the door and held the door open. We walked right on by. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, I could have easily had been a minor in consumption, and the wife would have been in trouble for, contributing to the delinquency of a minor.
Shit, I dropped a glass right in front of an officer in the liquor store parking lot. Me and my lady, her friend, we were drinking at the house and then decided to go downtown, and we just took a glass with us, not even thinking. Which is, open container, could be indecent. Yeah, not indecent.
Decent
Alcohol
exposure. Were you naked?
Littering, no. But there could have been a rap of charges. And then basically we were walking, talking, came to the corner, and all of a sudden somebody slapped me, and they were like, oh, it's a cop. And then they hit the drink right out of my hand, spilled, busted the glass all over the place. So now we're definitely being looked at. So just scooped up that glass and found a garbage can, and the cop just laughed as we walked by and continued our night. Actually, yeah, and nobody stopped me when I had to carry the friend home either. And apparently her ass was hanging out. It was a sight, I guess. But Yeah, it depends where you are, I guess.
Kind of reminds me of some nights at Apple Blossom in Wenatchee.
Good times.
What's going on, Mr. Carolina?
Not much. Just listen to your stories.
Now, does your emoji have a mask on?
Yeah, I'm trying to play safe. Don't know what Rob got nowadays.
Just don't like your phone.
Oops, too late.
You know, if we go back, I blame Artak and Daughters last Saturday. Think about it. He had COVID. He was on the show.
Yeah.
Monday,
Yep.
I ended up.
He should compensate you for that.
Yep. Artak and Daughters should be the one paying for my lost wages.
Yeah, cash
saw
out.
you went-
Wait a minute, though. He spent half the time, God knows, probably on the toilet or something, and his daughter was filling in for him. So you're going to hit her with his infection? I mean, come on.
He started
This
the
is
show
getting to be a
off.
slippery slope here.
He started the show off. He contaminated the show and then passed it on to his daughter, who had contaminated him.
His name is Artak and daughter, so there you go.
Oh, man. Y'all are bad, man.
Saw you went live earlier, Carolina. I missed it. What were you just hanging out, or what was your
Yeah, I was.
chat about on Instagram?
I just usually get on Saturday when I go to shoot videos, kind of take a break and see what everybody's up to. But I do it every time I go out there. So
And mandatory carry, he has a link. He has the ability to come here and defend himself. He chose not to. I see Makojo's out there.
Welcome to Kojo. All I can say is it's a dirty move when you go dragging kids into this. Dirty. I'm shocked by you guys.
that's the world we live in now.
So, Screaming says, anyone ever try Karma Scorpion Disco Hot Sauce? I've never even heard of that.
No, I'm not into hot sauces.
It says it's 649,000 on the Schofield level.
That's what I'm aware of. I've tried quite a few of them, but I don't remember the names and all that stuff. So, like the one chip challenge, I've eaten that. Yeah, I don't know. It's, you do it just to say you can do it. That's at least I do. Honestly, I prefer to taste my food.
I've eaten spontaneous
Best time to do it when you
combustion.
got the COVID.
Yep. I've eaten spontaneous combustion, Da Bomb sauce, a lot of different hot
Did you
sauces.
try that one chip challenge?
I did not.
What about you, Carolina?
No, I haven't, but I.
Okay.
That's my,
That's
I'm
my
just
buddy's
curious if anybody else that's been gassed
It's-
out has tried that, because in a way, that's kind of, how your whole chest and everything is burned. Like that's similar to, in my opinion, CS guys. Not the same, but similar. Where
Well,
you
it's
just feel it at.
It's kind of amazing because it became a fad, but everybody's paying $6 to $8 for a single chip.
Yep. So
So it's-
Makojo says no kimchi for you, DM Foss.
No rotten Korean cabbage for me. But so that's probably one of the great scams to ever go on. $8 for a single chip.
Yeah, I didn't buy mine. So I'm too cheap, but it was given to me, so obviously I couldn't say no.
What was it? There was a candy. I think it was called like the Devil's Thumb.
I tried the Devil's Blood at like a doesn't matter where it was, but steak sandwiches. They apply it with a toothpick, 1 drop of oil. I laughed. I'm like, what? Like, come on. And the guy, they're like, wait, you'll see. Like they weren't lying. That was some hot ass shit. Ruined that steak sandwich. Thankfully, it was all you could eat, but it probably took 2 more sandwiches before I could taste the meat again.
Oh, so it was called the Toe of Satan.
Yeah, I don't want nobody's toes. That's some weird shit.
I tried that.
Of course you would, tongue eater.
It's a sucker.
Yes, you were a sucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, $9 million on the Scoville. I don't know.
It's ridiculous.
At that point, it might as well just eat a lit candle. It's about the same.
He says atomic fireballs were hot. That's just cinnamon. It's a cinnamon candy. It'd be like saying like gummy bears are hot.
That's funny. That's funny.
One of my brother's friends thought he was going to be a smartass because I was making grilled cheese and thought he was going to try stealing one of my grilled cheeses. Well, I put 6 drops of spontaneous combustion on each slice of bread and then made it with pepper jack cheese. Yeah, lit his ass up on fire.
Hello, fellas.
Welcome, Wheeled. How's it going?
Good. I'm a hot pepper man myself, so I thought I'd better join in on the call. When I was in California in the Army, I was over at a Hispanic guy, Chris Oseguera's house, and his father didn't speak any English, and me and him were in the pepper garden, and I was trying different peppers, and he gave me one that was pretty hot, and then we went in the house, and he told his son in Spanish that I ate the pepper that no white man has ever eaten before, which was a compliment.
A little orange pepper?
No, it was a black pepper. A little one. I don't know what it was.
Probably came off the Serrano.
Yeah. That was, back in the 80s. Peppers weren't that hot back then. But when I was in Gibraltar, and I was alone, and I was at a Indian restaurant, and I ordered the vindaloo, which is the hottest they have. He goes, "Oh, you're going to ruin your meal that way. Why don't you get the?" And he trying to talk me into getting the milder, and I go, "You don't understand. I eat hot stuff all the time. I'm from the South." And he said, "Oh, the vindaloo will burn you up." I said, "I won't even sweat." He didn't know that my medical condition, I can't sweat. But I told him I wouldn't sweat, and he goes, "If you don't sweat, the meal's free." I said, "Okay." So I ate the meal. My nose was running, but I wasn't sweating. And anyway, he tried to give me the meal for free. I paid for it anyway.
Yeah.
Shit, I'd be using that. That's a good betting tool right there. That's use what you got.
Yeah, I think the meal was free. I just had to pay for my drinks or something like that.
Hell yeah.
No.
Yeah, the wife decided that she's gonna try grooming the cats. So you get to hear the 17-pound cat talk.
So
She's like,
wheeled. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
"Oh, go ahead."
I was just wanting to ask Wheeled about the. I can't say it's his last knife review because he does a lot, but the last one I commented on, where he didn't seem thrilled about it, was Blade Q, I think. Out of curiosity, if you recall what I'm trying to point out to you, how much was that knife? Out of curiosity.
Which knife?
The Blade HQ that you ended up returning, one that's supposed to open.
It was $59.
Okay.
But it got, they said like the original list price was like, I saw it on one website, it said $350. Blade HQ said it was $250. There's just no way.
Not good.
No, like
well,
you said,
that's what I was wondering if it was a. Yeah, because you said something about $200 and some odd dollars or something, and I'm thinking to myself like, damn, that's why I left the comment I did. I was shocked at, from what you were saying about it and the look. Like I left in my comment, it looks like an AutoZone special for $25-$30 or something. Yeah, like a few $100, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, no, I mean, 59, that's in that range where it's competing with Kalashnikov or something like that. So it should still be working pretty damn good, right? But
I don't complain about my Gerbers in most situations, but I'm not a knife expert.
Yeah. No, I mean, $50, you should have a damn good knife. I mean, nowadays it's not like, technology, machining, everything's so much better than it was in the past. But yeah, I think I just got a bad one off is what I'm guessing, just one to slip through. I mean, 'cause it is an American made, I didn't want to throw them completely under the bus, but I didn't want to get stuck with it. I've never returned a knife before,
Well, that's saying something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
My pickup with knives is the handles a lot of time. Seems like all these new tie-in fancy knives, they look cool as hell. They're all nice pieces of art, but as soon as you actually use it, I don't want to say the wrong thing here, but if you use it in a defense situation, I think it's going to be slippery as hell, most of these knives. They all just look cool. I mean, yeah, they might be made out of great shit, but I don't know. They don't really seems like more of a talk piece. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but all this really slick metal and stuff is, blood slippery. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, most of the high-end ones are aluminum that are painted, and even if they got grooves in them, they're not that grippy. I mean, like you could get like G10 grips on a gun that's grippy as hell. And my Benchmade, it's pretty damn grippy, or at least it was when I bought it new. After carrying it for 4 years straight, it's not as grippy as it was. Some of those things have that dry texture, and some have that slick texture. I mean, I think the one I'm carrying now, it's a ProTech, and it's got those fish scales on it, and it's pretty grippy. In the aluminum, it's carved in like a fish with the little U's. So yeah,
Cool. Yeah, definitely for some grip on a knife like that. If you actually are going to use it for defense, definitely a good grip because, it might even just get snagged and your hand slips off on a retreat or something. I mean, it's just,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. If you're serious, it shouldn't be about looks, in my opinion.
Well, that's what I was calling that gentleman's knife. That Boker that I did, there was the $800, handmade one, and then Boker licensed
That car's cheaper than that.
I know he got an exact copy for $100 or plus or minus, depending where you buy it, right? And it's a really nice knife, but it's so thin. I mean, it's not a half inch deep, but it's also about a half inch wide. So it's hard to, you got to line all your fingers up in a row just to open it. You know what I mean? Because it's a flipper. And a army buddy of mine, he said, "Oh, I saw that review, and I want to get one of those gentleman's knife." I'm like, "Well, I'm using the term gentleman's knife as not something practical. It's something you might eat a peach with, but not something you're going to really, you might have to defend yourself with it, but it's not really a EDC knife. It's an EDC knife for a banker, right?" And so I was trying to tell my buddy that, and so he's like 6'6", and I'm like, he goes, "Well, what's your best knife?" I go, "The ProTech." He goes, "But it's gonna be too small for you. I got the TR3. You need the TR4." And he went to some store in Louisiana. They only had one ProTech in the whole store, and it was the TR4. So he got it. He's over the moon with it. So, there's a reason you get a different knife, and they all have a defined purpose. Like a gun. You need to know what the purpose is and not get the wrong knife, right?
Yeah, the right tool for the right job.
Right. Or the right person. Yeah.
Yeah, I carry a knife that was given to me, and it's what is that? SOG?
Yeah, SOG makes good knife.
Yeah, it came in a tack pack, and Mr. Carolina EDC had gave me the tack pack that it came, and I was like, "Damn, that's actually a really nice knife, and it's got no serrations on the blade."
Well, I heard you give serrations a hard time, but when you need to do some deep cutting, like on a seatbelt, or you want to cut a branch in one swipe, serrations is your hero.
So, I
love serrations.
I had a pocket knife that I used to carry that the wife got me, and I'm probably going to go back to carrying that for a while. It's just switch back and forth. But it has a dedicated seatbelt cutter and it's got a glass breaker on it. And it's a spring assisted.
What most cars nowadays have laminated windows, and those glass breakers aren't worth a shit on laminated windows.
I don't think they'd do much with my extreme tinted windows. So it looks like
that's more of a gimmick type thing, and you kind of, you just stuck yourself with one use for that piece. Other than that, that's it. All you do with it is say, "Oh, it can cut a seatbelt," but you're pretty much stuck. For serrations, you can use, in some cases on a daily basis. So it's a total different ball game.
With serrations, you could cut. Rob, what's that white wiring that you use in the house? What is that stuff called?
Like
Romex?
10 to 12 to.
Yeah,
I
you
can't
can
think of what you
hack
would.
through that in 2 swipes. I mean, the serrations are pretty badass.
14. Yeah. You can get through something maybe you shouldn't. You can use it for more of a tool, I guess you could say. So, and quicker on grabbing stuff like that, and cutting any kind of cords with just straight blades. If it's not sharp, it's a bitch. And when you consider a survival situation or something like that, or using it as a tool, unless you're sharpening nonstop, you're going to burn through pretty good. So I definitely like serrations, even in a defensive situation, as far as clothing, things like that. You want to make sure every movement you make counts as much as it can. So,
and the serrations being at the top of the blade, that's not your fine working part of the blade as well. It's not like a steak knife that has serrations going all the way down the blade. I would never get one of those type knives that had only serrations.
Yeah, I don't care for those either.
Yeah, but that SOG, they got a spring assisted, and I was buying them on eBay. They were coming from China or somewhere, but they were taking like 3 weeks to get to my house. But they were $10. It was a heavy knife. It was the best EDC. I still got a couple of them, and but I went to Blade Show, and this was probably 2016 or so, and I went by the booth and was talking to the SOG guy about how heavy it was, and he's like, "Heavy? Ours aren't really known for being heavy." I showed him that knife. He goes, "That's not our knife." But anyway, I love that knife. It held an edge, and it was sharp, and man, that spring assist was incredible. You just started and it jumped out. It was just ready to jump out, but it would never open up in your pocket or anything.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I kind of stopped carrying the one that the wife is. If you bump it just right, you'll hit that button and that blade will open up inside your pocket, and it just springs out. I mean, that damn thing will. It's a ProTac 4.
Yeah,
and I do like the knife. I mean, it's a damn good little knife. But yeah, I've been carrying that SOG, and it definitely has a nice amount of weight to it. So I see we got G Webs out there saying he's the 12th thumb. We've got Miss Vanessa Kitty in the crowd, and Mr. M. Gabriel has joined us. So welcome, everybody.
The Bulldogs are about to play Clemson. I got to drop off and run over to the bar to go see them.
Well, go Clemson.
No, go Dogs.
Take care.
All right. See you later. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Later.
So I got a SOG I used to carry all the time too. Now I'm having trouble finding it, but it's probably stashed somewhere. So
Yeah, I know exactly.
Oh God.
I know exactly where my SOG is.
And mine is MIA at the moment. It's stashed somewhere. I'm sure I didn't lose it, but I keep knives all over the place, and yeah, almost just like guns. So, but
I'm probably
not exactly, but You can never have too many knives or whatever. If I'm carrying a backpack, you can bet there's at least probably 2-3 knives in there,
I can
despite
guarantee
what
you.
I could have on me.
I guarantee you. I am probably 45% sure where your SOG knife is. I could be wrong, but it's
Steal
probably in your wife's purse.
Nah, she's got her own system of knives, sharp
Oh,
objects.
oh no!
Yeah.
Rich White has a comment for you.
No, that's messed up, man. Nah, I wouldn't do that. Might be stuck in somebody and I couldn't retrieve it, but yeah. Even that's a little slim. Get attached to a good knife.
Yeah. I didn't realize how nice those SOG's knives were until I actually I had one and started carrying it.
Yeah. Ticks me off. I can't find the one because I just wanted to show you the grip on it because it's like serrations, kind of like you're stating, but they go in both directions. So basically, as you envision stabbing a carpet that's being held up by somebody or whatever, as you go in, your hands, not sliding, there's room for moisture or whatever to be there and still get a good grip. And as you pull out, the same thing. That just sounded kind of weird, but we're talking about knives and stuff. But yeah.
So the one thing is
good grip all the way around.
The one thing with serrations where a lot of people don't think about it, if you have to use that knife in a defensive situation, a serrated blade, that wound is going to heal quicker than a straight cut will heal.
So, I mean, what's that matter? I mean, yeah.
I'm just saying.
What are you going to sit there and stab each other for 20 years, or what's going on? I mean, I don't think they're going to be judging it. Oh, that was serrated, or straight. You son of a bitch. Like stopping to ask what caliber you just shot me with. I don't think it matters, man.
Oh, it was. I just thought I'd put the facts out there.
It's a fun fact, but
I just thought I'd throw it out there. Warsaw says I can screen share his video. Oh, he says he got his for $23 on karambit.com. I was looking, and so one of the guys that comes in to pick up super sacks that, after we empty them, we sell them to the public for $1 a piece, where they can put different stuff in there. I think it's $1. I don't remember. And so a company came to pick up like all the bags that we had, and he had a Boker Karambit automatic, and I was like, damn, it's a nice knife. So he said he got it on Blade HQ, and I went and looked at it. The damn thing is sold out and discontinued. I'm like, well, damn it, that was a nice knife. So, mandatory carry says, see, I don't like knives for defense anyways. I'd rather clock you with something, even if it is the knife.
Yeah, I don't like being in a position where it's down to a knife, but if it comes to that, I'd rather have one than not.
Yep.
Yeah, that's if you're in a knife fight, that's a bad day, man. It's a real bad day.
Well, and sometimes, depending, if you're in a crowd, it could come that you need to be able to use your knife to get you back far enough that you could then pull your weapon.
You try it. Yeah, that's debatable. And everybody's got different skills, but that close, and if you already got a knife, you might as well use your knife, in my opinion. Don't fumble around with a gun. So the knife is just as deadly as a gun. It's just the individual that's wielding it, I guess you would state. So if you have any experience in that, or even the medical field, I mean, you can just literally shut people down if you have an idea of what you're doing. But if not, then I don't know, maybe try to retreat and grab a gun. But doing so and stumbling may get you stabbed to death. So everything's a risk, but everybody has different skills and confidence levels. But don't let confidence get you killed either. So stay in your lane.
Yeah. So Walter Davis says, hey to everybody. So welcome everyone, or welcome Walter. And Warsaw says, do you like the karambit I have? I like all karambits. Karambits are nice knives. And that's why I was looking to get me the Boker automatic karambit.
I think they're great, personally. Due to, I guess my opinion, my understanding of them, they're more to be used as a claw. Lower experience level can handle them, all the way up to, a master, you could state, obviously, could still choose that. But the average person has, I think, better defensive methods with that if they use it properly than just an average knife with no, barely any skill, or whatever the case is. So that's one thing I think is a big difference. There's people that are really into this, and then there's the average people. And when the average people bump into those people that are really into this, it's a bad deal. So and you never know. So you want to always avoid a knife fight.
Yep. It's just like, you never know when you go to pull your gun if that other person may be a better gunfighter than you. So Vanessa says, why do you like the karambit form over like the Tonto blade?
But if that's questions for me, I like it because on average, for the average person, it's easier, in my opinion. I think it's an easier style of defense or fighting, in a sense. So kind of hook and pull or whatnot. So when you're down to other areas where you're just straight blade and you're slicing, I mean, that comes into more skill where you should know what you're doing. You can rush in and try to stab all the time and put yourself at risk, or you can take what the opponent gives you and shut them down from a safe distance. So it's all depends on people's style and what they've been taught and what they do. So, and obviously, the other person might be hopped up on drugs and rage and run right to you, and you just have to take a couple steps to the side and you can shut them down if you have an idea. But I don't know. It's just different tool for different jobs, I guess, and different experience levels. But I feel more comfortable, like with my child with the karambit. I would rather her work that way than the other. Sadly, I think. But I'm not an expert either. Obviously, I've had to take some defensive stuff and things like that, but I'm not, anybody special. But I know enough to know don't screw with those people. It's just that simple.
I know enough to get me in trouble.
Pretty much. Size doesn't matter. It's discipline and skill. It's like the old guy in the park that's doing that Tai Chi and shit. There's a good chance he's going to kick your ass because he's been doing that every day. It's learned response to him. So, yeah, I don't know. Foss probably has a good idea with martial arts. Some understanding of what I'm trying to point out, maybe.
Well, I walked away, so I missed all of what you said.
All right.
Sorry.
Hanging out there. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, I went down. I had a cramp, so I went downstairs and grabbed my knives.
Nice.
So this is the knife that Warsaw's talking about. So
Could be nice.
I'm not
Depends
big
on
on
the fit of the hand and the lock and all that. I'm more into the solid, but sorry, I don't mean to keep cutting you off. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I'm not big into the karambits. They can do a lot of damage, and there's nothing wrong with them. I just prefer, standard blades.
okay, so I'm gonna go back to Blade HQ, pull up a couple different style knives. I'll share while I.
That's one of my favorite. It's got G10 grips and it's really grippy.
No, I didn't think the butterfly was legal in the state of Washington.
You can't carry it. At least that's how we're going to interpret the law. You can have it, but you can't carry it. Probably my favoriteest is just the old
Swiss Army
knife. Yep. It's, great utility. It's not, you're not going to do work like you will with, like my Kershaw. But I've had this, my wife got this for me probably 20 years ago. And it's handy to carry around.
Rich, wait a minute. He doesn't look like Danger Mouse. So, let me pull this back up. So, for some people who may not be knife aficionados, when we're talking what a Tonto blade looks like, you've got more
I
of
could have showed that.
that would be
Actually,
more of
I
a
already
Tonto.
did.
That's more of a Tonto. Versus Maybe. That's the more of the. I like that style of the Tonto. But again, it goes to the fact that I'm not a very big fan of the serrated blade.
In case people want to know, I don't know if anybody out there does want to know, but if you're interested in like the K bars or anything like that, you can get them either way, with serrations or without. You got to do a search for it or whatever, and also you can find them on eBay cheaper than they sell them themselves somehow, which are legitimate ones with the paperwork, all that type of stuff. Not a knockoff, but just if anybody's interested. If you do like the serrations, in a sense, you can still get that same blade, same lifetime warranty, everything. It's just a different model number.
Yeah, the Gerber, their fixed blade. I forget what the name of it is. I was looking at them the other day. They've got one like that. It's got, you can get it either serrate with the serration or not serrated.
This is the knife that I got to play with, and those G10 grips right there are definitely nice. And yeah, that little curve to a nice sharp point, it's pretty nice.
Be great for cutting apples.
This LMF infantry is the same way. You get it with or without the serrations, depending how you order it. And you can get the kit. Like this one came full with the leg attachment. You can kind of get it kitted however you want, or full all the way out. So
Yeah, I think that's the Gerber I was talking about.
Yeah, from what I can tell, it's pretty nice. So similar to other ones in a sense I've had. So I like it. There's different colors as well. You can get the tan, you can get them with like a little offset, but you got to be careful because some of the ones that have like this little insert offset deal, they're not actually really Gerber. So there's some knockoffs out there. I got this, I think eBay around $100, something like that. So that's what you'd expect, for it not to be a knockoff. But I have seen some that look very similar for like $40, $30. So, I mean, I don't know. It might be worth $30, $40. I haven't tried one. So I prefer to get one with a warranty.
The M&P it looks real similar to that. I think, I showed it the other day. I got it for like $27 off Blade HQ. Neat thing about that one is it comes with two different handles, a larger and a smaller, so you can swap out the handle for a better fit.
So what Rob was talking about, go to. See, I like, you got your, and then here's your K-bar.
Yeah, I kind of want the Space Forces ones just because they're kind of stupid.
That bright blue, though, it's like, I
know, but just because
it's never something I'd actually want to use if it was like a wall piece. Like, hey, if you got it, what the hell, But
here's some nice K-bar throwing knives.
I've got the K-bar chopsticks.
There's a now that modified Tonto right here. This doesn't look too bad. I could definitely, but again, you're
I don't think that's Tonto. It does claim Tonto. Doesn't really look like it.
It's a modified
borderline drop point.
It's in between.
They call it a modified Tonto.
Yeah. And I have model 1245. That's the true Tonto serrations.
I had a K-bar in grade school. I bought it off another kid. It was a surplus. Brought it home. My mom saw it, said, "Take it back." So I took it back. Bought it from her bought it for $5.
Sold it back to him for $12.
You didn't really take it back, did you?
I did. Took it back, and he gave me my $5 back.
Oh, you damn goody two-shoe. You should have buried that shit somewhere.
It was like
There's-
5th grade.
There's your USMC K-bar.
That's the other thing. If you search, you can usually get them with plastic or leather sheath as well.
Now, is it plastic or is it Kydex?
I don't know. I don't know. It might be Kydex. I just looks like plastic to me. So, but truthfully, I like that just due to water and everything else, and the positive lock-in. Like you have to want to pull that knife to pull it. So, almost like retention on a holster in a sense with a knife that big. Somebody else is going to struggle if they're not familiar with it.
G-Web says, what's it? Anytime that happens, it goes under the bed is all.
Yep.
That is
Got rid of
basically...
it, Mom. I buried one under the front porch, so unfortunately I never retrieved it. And the place was just torn down not long ago. So I was gonna go back and try to get it, but I missed out.
Somebody else got it.
Who knows? I'm sure if they found it, they didn't want to touch it. They probably assumed it was a murder weapon or something. So, but, yeah, moms can be a pain in the ass, but yeah, I guess us kids shouldn't be trying to carve into their furniture either. So,
Especially if it's leather furniture.
no, just the wood trim on the sides. Yeah,
Oh,
moms notice that shit. And they don't really care for it. And as a dad, I can say I completely understand that now.
So I see we have Mr. CB, another fellow Oregonian in the crowd. Welcome. If you guys haven't seen his latest video where he showed them cutting down a damn beautiful tree, the city he lives in decided that they needed to remove that so that they could put a damn sidewalk in. I don't even live there.
That was a sidewalk anyway. You know? What the hell? We'll let the tree alone.
I said they should have just put the sidewalk around the tree.
That would have worked too.
God damn it. Now I'm going to be looking at knives all night.
Yeah, don't let that cheap bastard in New York show you up.
Defense Dad says, holy crap, Walter Davis must be old as fuck if he got a K-bar in 1882. Damn.
He looks damn good for his age.
Defense Dad says, dude has a raging elephant. I'm guessing about the noise everyone heard when Rob unmuted. Probably damn some Honda owner trying to show that their car is fast.
I thought maybe it was quitting time at the plant.
Nah, it was a bike.
Probably a Honda.
City life, you know. I think it's a 2-something Kawasaki, I think.
Oh, like a 250.
Yeah, those ones that make you laugh and they're revving it up downtown, and you're like, shit, I'd beat that in a station wagon, you douchebag. Bicycle back tire. Yeah. Everybody's got their limits, but you know, it ain't like my old bike, I can tell you what. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like I said, everybody's got their limits, and you got to start somewhere. But it's pretty funny because, boy, it's like those guys on the smallest bike seem to be the cockiest bastards. You know, it's funny.
I don't. I'll say not next week's chat, but the chat after that. Maybe I will. We'll do a knife show. Chat on knives. The next one is going to be EDC. You know what you carry, why you carry it.
I don't carry anything. I don't even wear clothes. That's the best EDC.
Walk around revving it. Nobody's going to get near you.
People try to stay away from you, that's for sure. Like, what the hell's wrong with that guy?
Oh.
You guys see that YouTube video flick thing? I forgot who was doing it. I don't know. A long time ago. It was around. Yeah, where guy was like in the hood or something rolling up on people, and he was wearing like a wrestler uniform, and people approached the group and started saying something, and they got defensive, and then all of a sudden he just ripped his clothes off and he's wearing these tights and shit, and everybody's like, what? Like guy that walked by him pulled a gun out on him, and as soon as he pulled off and handed those spandex, everybody was like, oh hell no, and he just took off running. Like, they didn't want nothing to do with his ass. Like, I thought that was hilarious. Like, yeah. Sometimes that crazy shit works. Just gotta think outside the box, you know? I don't know if you guys ever saw that or not, but it was going around for quite a while, a couple years ago. Get naked and want to wrestle. And boy, they don't want to play no more.
New York is a crazy place. Screaming says. Oh, yep. When I just said walk around butt naked, 3 people left. They're like, we're gone. No, we're just gone. Rich White says karate. Oh, okay. Now I see where he was. He says, so what Rob is saying is knowing karate matters, not when the other guy knows crazy. And G-Web says nude karate.
Hey, man, a lot of people don't want to be all hot and sweaty with a naked guy like that, just randomly on the street. You know? And the ones that do, you know, that's on them. But, you know, a lot of people think twice about shit like that. Like, yeah.
I don't know. Some people pay good money for that.
Right. but it's psychologically changing the game. It's like a damsel in distress. Woe is me, getting cornered on the subway. Well, if she's digging in her ass and playing with her crotch and picking her nose, they're probably gonna leave your ass alone. And yeah, you look crazy as shit. Hopefully nobody got a video, but you made it home.
So Screaming says, I've been to NYC several times, South Bronx, and all around New York State. Niagara Falls is awesome. It's called New York Street Fighting. So, yeah.
So what do you do if you take off your clothes and then they take off their clothes?
Pull out your video camera.
Run. Turn around and run. You fucked up. It's all in the odds. The more you play, the more you risk.
Mandatory says fight. You rip your clothes off and they rip theirs off. Well, I guess you have to have a fight. See who is the craziest. G-Web says, then you lost that gamble. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just... Mandatory says, we both crazy. Let's do this. You know if that happened?
Getting harassed. Hey man, well, it's legitimate. A guy in wrestling spandex fended off 4 or 5 guys, and one of them was behind him pointing a gun at him. So it's a psyche thing, man.
Rich was saying it could be the other guy took it as an invitation.
Nowadays, who knows?
Oh, all you know
Turn
is
around and be like, it's about damn time. Uh-oh.
Next thing you know, like 30 phones come flying out and videos start getting recorded, and you're like trying to get the hell up out of there. My wife's over here looking at us like we're crazy as hell. Rich says she's not
Call it
wrong.
what you want. As long as you survive. That's the goal.
Exactly. The only fair fight is the fight you walk away from.
It might not have been fair, but he walked away.
Well, the only rule in fighting is to not lose.
Pretty much. So what's going on out in the chat?
PNW says I like taking my partial out, so I take my teeth out. Mandatory
Whip
carry
your teeth
says
out. Go here, hold this. the hell? Whatever works.
Mandatory says 2 crazy men got into a naked wrestling match in the New York subway this afternoon. Film at 11. Rich says 2 crazy men got into a naked wrestling match in the New York subway this afternoon. Film on Pornhub. So, I guess it could be either way.
Well, I want no part of wrestling the crazy naked guy. So
Sometimes you don't have a choice.
seem fun to me in any way, form.
Yep. So one of these 4th of Julys, you're probably gonna have some crazy naked, oiled up dude like jumping on your car, and then what are you gonna do?
Say that. I can't tell you.
Sliding around on your
I
Honda.
won't be bothering anybody else.
Well, the oiled up part ups the difficulty.
Oh. See, I'm not the only one that started to think oil.
No,
G-Web says,
dude,
okay,
you joke, but
go ahead.
go ahead. What's he say?
He says, okay, Carrie Butter, you get in a fight and take your clothes off, of course. Then the other person also takes their clothes off. Don't panic. Now rub that butter on your feet. Only your feet.
Gonna say, yeah, you guys laugh, but I would not be shocked around here. I mean, randomly, any given day, you might see somebody standing in an extra intersection, kicking cars, or doing random shit like the. Wasn't what last week? There was a girl that just took her top off. Some tweaker junkie chick down there when I was walking, just taking a walk. Like you see all types of crazy stuff. People freaking out on drugs, or they'll walk down the street, a car comes by, they get all pissed off because you didn't just instantly stop and allow them to just dance around the damn street. And so they try to throw shit at your car or kick your car all the time. Like, if there wasn't for laws and people being pussies, and there's so many people get screwed up on the average basis. Like, I personally think you should. Oh, no, I shouldn't say. But you should be able to deal with these freaking people. They're freaking lunatics out here beating the shit out of your car that's got nothing to do with you half the time. They come out of houses screaming, throwing shit in the street. Like, I don't understand. Like, where do all these crazy people come from? And then why do they got to take their problems out on everybody else's shit? Like, you come up and beat my car up, we're going to have problems. That's all I'm saying. But you see it all the time. Like, it's amazing. Like, I don't understand that some of these people, they just drive down the street and call the police and think they're going to show up and do something. Like, it's amazing. It blows my mind. People get away with it every day. So, the fat naked guy, it's probably just happened on the next block and I didn't see it, but it's probably already a thing.
I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube already. Screaming says, I see it every day downtown. Yeah.
Hey, I'm not the only one. It's crazy. It's like freaking madness. And then the police don't want to do nothing. Like, guy threw a brick at my other neighbor's place, like tried to throw it through his window and hit him. He hit the side of the house, messed the side of the house up. Police don't do a damn thing. They don't care. Like, nobody cares unless you're somebody special or live in a nice neighborhood. Like, this is going down a bad path. But yeah, we definitely got problems. Society, socialist society, whatever. Freaking, because around here, they there is no justice.
You need to stop being around there.
Yeah, but around here, spreading everywhere, all the bigger cities, it's becoming a thing, and that's where everybody votes, and that's what controls everything. Like, it's like, I don't know. No, just being upset with the school system, you pull your kid out, that's great, helps your kid, but society's still going downhill. We still got problems. So same thing. I could leave, but we're still going downhill. Which I plan to leave, so don't let me lie to people.
So, since you brought up the school system, have you seen that video of the crazy teacher in California who requires his students to participate in Antifa organizations as part of their schoolwork?
I heard he offers that as extra credit. Yeah, I heard about that, which is no shock. He's not the first teacher that's been publicly in the news about it. I think his is just worse because he's got the communist sickle and whatever on his chest, stand publicly out saying this. So, man,
well, there's a couple different California teachers that
no surprise
have come out and said. One said that she removed the American flag because it offends her and it's put away somewhere. But
I've seen that one. She got that gay pride flag or whatever up, and then laughing about that with the kids. Yeah.
And now both of those teachers are
the fools are the people that send their damn kids to these places. I don't understand this. Like, it's not what it was when you went to school. You need to go check that shit out yourself.
Yeah. And the thing is that parents are only finding more and more out about this because of, at-home school. And so parents can see the Zoom information. And some of the parents are like, oh my God, well, if they weren't at home doing homeschool, you'd never know what was going on because you're probably not having a discussion with your kids, or you don't have that
big
proof.
Part of it. You're not involved. They'll just pass it off to the school and expect it to be okay. I mean, it's the lazy way. It's what everybody does. So why would it be any different? And you're crazy to think if there's anything wrong with that. So I don't know. And then, it's the whole, well, they're doing great. Well, when you look at the numbers in some of these school districts, they can't even freaking count change. And they call that doing great. Like, the average isn't always good. So, I don't mean to be a downer today, but just pointing this out. Some average can be an average pile of shit. It doesn't make it good. So keep that in mind.
Right.
But again, not all school systems. So I wouldn't say that. So, but enough that it's making a big difference politically. You definitely state that.
Oh yeah. Trying to see what people are saying out in the crowd. Foss is throwing out the links to Wheeled and Well Armed, to Rob D out there. I even saw he threw my Patreon link out there. I think I have 5 people on Patreon. Kind of crazy. Sergeant Joe says, been 10 years since you've been to fast food place. Hear that someone could count change.
I run into it all the time. I mean, it's sad. I had a what I'd guess 14-year-old girl, maybe 15, selling lemonade, and her 20, and her grandmother's got to confirm the change for her. And I'm just like, wow. like, like, wow. And there's no even embarrassment on the girl's part or nothing. Like, it's just that's just the way it is now. Like, I just, wow.
Yeah, there's I don't know. Back in the day, I think it was like in kindergarten, you learned how to count change. You know,
And what's this crap at the register? Like, do I got enough for this or this or that? Know what the hell you got before you get there. I mean, what the hell is wrong with you grown ass people juggling shit at the register? Like, Jesus, what's wrong with people these days?
One of the stores I worked at up near Seattle was like that, where they'd come up with a cart full of stuff and then say, "Oh, I got $50," and they've got like $300 worth of stuff. So they'll sit there and pick out what they want.
It drives me nuts. It upsets me when I see like a 6-year-old doing it in a sense, but when you see grown-ups doing it, that's horrible. I'm sorry, that's horrible. But if you're old enough to be running down to the store by yourself, you should have already covered change in school. I don't understand, especially running around a city like that. You know what I mean? So I just, it's embarrassing. I'd be embarrassed if that was my kid. Like, somebody ain't doing their damn job. Whether you can blame the school, I blame the parents, because either way, they should know. But then you see the parents doing the same goddamn thing. Like, holy shit, how do you make it across the street? I don't understand this.
so Mr. Rob, I threw Patriot in the Dark's comment up there for you.
Yeah, I'm all over the place, man. Sorry.
And then Defense
like a box
Dad.
of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Defense Dad says, "You guys sound like middle-aged men from Saturday Night Live in the 90s."
That's the way it was, and we liked it.
And I agree with you, though.
I know. God forbid we want our youth to be able to count change and be able to tie a shoe. God forbid.
I'm not really too concerned if they can tie a shoe, as long as they can count change properly.
It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor, man. It's, pull your pants up or at least wash your damn underwear. We got to stare at it all day. I mean, it covers a lot of wide aspect of things.
Well, oh, yeah.
If you drop your kid off at school and you're wearing a coat, then maybe your kid should have a coat. Those types of things.
Maybe they're wearing a coat because that's all they have on.
You never know.
There is that possibility also. Rick says, I'd settle for the kids knowing their ass from a hole in the ground.
Yeah. And again, it's not all kids. There's exceptions to every rule, and some places are a lot worse than others. So, yeah. I know I sound negative, but, that's just an example of what I see in my area. So, I've also seen things that give me hope, too, but it's in small amounts spread way the hell out that numbers-wise doesn't even matter. Like, it does, but it does. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I think Oregon is the only state in the union that decided you didn't have to know how to do math, how to read, or how to write, and you can still graduate. They're going to accept that.
It's ridiculous. Shame how far we've come. I mean, we should be ashamed of this stuff.
So think about what kind of kids we're going to be producing here in the next couple of years. There you go. Rich says that his wife just informed him that Putin banned mandatory vaccines in Russia.
Yeah, but Putin involuntarily injects people with stuff.
But it's not a vaccine. He involuntarily.
He just made it. I was gonna say he just made a deal with the Chinese, and so, with what is it? About the oil. I'm trying to think of here. I shouldn't have said nothing. I can't think of the other party, but basically it's going to possibly screw with our petrodollar because they got the same deal we got. So how are they going to supply both people? But they don't have to use the American dollar to buy it anymore. So basically that's going to push our fuel issues and probably be another good example of why we need to go to war somewhere. So, but yeah, so in a sense, if you follow that line, you could say maybe he has information that we don't have because he's working with partners that we're not. And, all that's crazy conspiracy talk, but, maybe he doesn't want his people affected in some certain way.
So Walter says, I'm back and dinner was good. So the question is, what was for dinner? And did you have a salad? Got to make sure you ask about the salad. Rob will be unhappy if there was no salad involved. Pretty sure Rob gets paid by Big Salad Company. Are you in the pocket of Big Salad, Rob? Yep. The silence is key right there.
So what are we talking about? I had to step away for a minute. Play with my knife collection.
Sure you did. Rich White says dinner was barbecue ribs and fried onion rings. So, Patriot says, okay, what's the consensus on where we're going toward next? I say Easter Island. No, we can't go to Easter Island due to the fact that that's where the bunny is. And you'd have too many little kids, being upset. You might kill the Easter bunny.
Well, and they don't have anything we want.
So, I'm trying to think. If Biden would choose to go to war, he's going to go with a soft target like Jordan. It probably is my idea.
Jordan. Oh, I would doubt that.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm sure we'll be, going after somebody because, just look at the way things have been. So it's just how it goes, basically. So my concern is, who are they going to get to go? because it seems like a lot of people aren't too thrilled with what's going on nowadays. And it's becoming more and more public. And, they want to encourage ladies now to sign up for the draft and all this other stuff. I don't know. Like, not for the draft, but trying to think of the term that's used, but for the draft, basically.
Selective service.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure who they're going to get to go off to do this after you just publicly strand a bunch of people and, all this other. I mean, you got to be certain kind of stupid, I think, to join up right at this moment. Maybe that's just me, but that's, my opinion.
I would kind of agree with Rich that, either they go back into Afghanistan after the clusterfuck, or like Syria.
I mean, Rich does bring up a good point that we do sell a lot of weapons to Jordan, but truly, like, when was the last time you heard Jordan get involved in anything? Do they even have a fighting force?
Jordan was one of the greatest basketball players ever. I'm not a fan of Jordan, but he had that it factor.
Yep. Mandatory Carey says his stepdaughter joined the Marines last year, and you were probably thinking of selective service, which you're supposed to sign up at 16 if you're a male. You have till your, I think, 18th birthday.
I know there's a push for it to be with females now as well. I don't know if it's actually a thing yet, but there's articles about it, so I'm not exactly sure. But
well,
I don't know. Like I said, it just concerns me. I mean, I'd say, sorry to hear that she signed up a year ago, in my opinion. Other people would probably say that's bad of me. I don't know, but I've known a few people that have signed up not too long ago, and they all, for some reason or another, didn't tend to work out too well. So it's different for different individuals, and I think everybody actually has a different experience. So people will state, it's basically the same thing or this or that, but I'd argue differently. I'd say every experience is a little different. But basically, with what's going on today, I mean, I just don't see a lot of parents saying, go fight for our country over there. Just hopefully they don't leave you. I mean, it's not a very good deal right now. So I don't know.
So I see we got
technically, we're encouraging people not to help our people right now. Even private citizens that are trying to still help our people. Our countries calling up and say, don't let them land and refuel and all this stuff. Like, they're just trying to screw our people. Like, you want to, I'll just shut up.
Yeah, that is a lot of bullshit that they're telling other countries, don't let these planes land in your country, don't let them refuel, blah blah blah. And it's definitely a lot of bullshit. And I guess I chose the wrong place because everyone's popping off on Jordan. Walter Davis says Jordan is a great ally, as good as Libya before we attacked them. But yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you go back and Jordan attacked Israel. Israel is one of our.
Egypt attacked Israel.
So let's bomb the hell
Everyone
out of
over
both of
there
them.
attacked Israel.
Yeah. And
Well,
Rob's gone.
too much political talk for Rob.
Rage quit.
Yeah, he hates Jordan. He hates everybody from Jordan.
He
At least
even
that's what I
hates the
thought.
basketball player named Jordan. Oh. Well, I guess we gotta stop.
That's right. Stop talking shit. That's the wrong button, damn it. So why do we got to go bomb the shit out of anybody? Honestly, don't we got enough problems in our own country? I mean,
you brought it
honestly,
up.
with everything going on right now. Don't we have enough problems to deal with? Like shit we should handle before we just go decide to kill other people for the hell of it. Not necessarily for the hell of it, but people would argue that, minerals wealth to persuade somebody to do things our way. Why? Why are we doing all this shit to begin with?
But yes.
So everybody, because evil will build up on the other side. So when it builds up and sticks its head up, we chop it the fuck off. Okay. But why are we over there risking our blood, all this bullshit for people that don't want to do shit for themselves anyway? I'm sorry. We got it. We got an immigration policy. You're welcome to come over here. You do it legally. I don't understand. Because it's all freaking money. It's money, power, control, a bunch of bullshit. And they don't die for it. You die for it. Your kids die for it. Our comeback shit. Nobody talks about the messed up. Death is one thing. More people come back fucked up than anything else. And that's a serious issue. That 22 a day. We ain't bitching about that. It's all about COVID and shit. There's way more important shit. I don't know. I gotta stop. I'm sorry.
Well, you bring up another good topic, which is September is Mental Health Awareness Month. And yeah, we definitely need to be pushing the fact that 22 a day is a real thing. I mean, I knew the number had dropped down to, I think 17, but that number possibly could rise back up due to what's just happened. So, yeah, I mean, if you know people that have served, you definitely want to kind of keep an eye and, reach out to them. You may not be the one to be able to, help them, but at least you can say, hey, I can, take you wherever you need to go. I'm at least here to listen if you want to talk about it.
I'd recommend you just listen. Don't really say shit, because more than likely you can't understand. Just if they're willing to speak, let them talk.
Biden's not going to recognize any of that. Sergeant Joe says, Mental Health Awareness Month. Is Biden on the poster advertising that? No.
Be a funny advertising.
Screaming Skull says that he reached out to his wife's cousin who served in Afghanistan. They hung out, grilled, and had some beers. He seems to be doing okay. So, Mr. Foss, do you have any different topics you want to talk about?
Not offhand.
How about that Bond arm that you did a little short video on?
It's cool. It's like shooting a 357 rock. It's a different experience. It's hard. I mean, it's hard to even describe. It's
Well,
Now,
cool.
is there
you
a
know.
lot of recoil off that? I mean, you assume there would be, but it looked like you handled it quite well if there was. In my opinion,
It's a
I
pretty
didn't think
good.
it looked that bad, but looks might be deceiving.
It's a pretty good thump. I think that's just more me, the way I'm built. Because when I noticed when I would take people to the range and stuff and editing the video, that the recoil affects me a lot differently than it does everybody else that I take. It doesn't move me as much, but it's a good thump. It's loud because you've got like a 1 inch. It's a 2.5 inch barrel. Half of it is chamber, half of it is rifled. So most of the explosion happens outside the barrel. Got some pretty good sized fireball came off it. Big thump. Huge difference between 357 and 38 special. The 38s were I'd say pleasant to shoot out of it. 357 wasn't too bad, but snappy. There's not a lot of grip, and then when you cock the hammer, it gets in the way where you want to put your hand in, so you can't get your hand high up in line with the barrels.
That's something you can change. Like a different angle on the hammer, or is it just the design is too small?
It's just too small. But I think
Kinda
part of
sucks.
it, I just need a little more time with it. That was the first time I took it to the range, the short that I made. But it's interesting, but it's the trigger is physically shorter. So the feel of when you pull the trigger is different than most every other gun. It's stiff, but it's short. Trigger pull. It's just weird. It's really
price
hard to
range is
describe.
that in?
What's that?
So what price range is that in?
About 350, I think it was. And the nice thing about the Bond arms is you can swap it for any other Bond arm Derringer barrel. Even because I bought the Roughneck, which is kind of the unfinished, so they're a little cheaper. But even the higher end models you can swap out for their barrels. They're all the same barrels. But the long Colt, the 410. I want to get the 45, maybe the 40 barrels for them. Those are, were they 150 a piece? Somewhere around there.
So, Walter asks, was it the Derringer?
Yeah.
Defense Dad says that thing looked painful when you shot it.
It wasn't that bad. You
Didn't
felt
for
it,
me.
and I didn't shoot it that much. I just ran down to pop off some shots to try it out. I think total I maybe fired 20 rounds. About half 357, half 38. But if when your adrenaline's pumping and you need to use it, you're not going to feel it.
I thought it looked pretty cool, and like I said, looked like you dealt with the recoil fine. Honestly, to me, in video form. I guess I'm a little shocked. 350. I thought all those guns were fairly cheap, like 250 or something. Not that
No.
350 I guess
Well, that's-
expensive, but
That's like
it looks
the
decent
life
though.
card, the little single shot 22 life cards. Those are $300, $350.
That's crazy to me.
I know you can get some of the smaller, like Bond arms. They're like, I think $199, $200. But I think those are your 22 short, 22 mag, your 22 long rifles.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the prices. I've just seen some of those in my local shop, and they're always cheap. So I don't know if they're junk models or what, because I don't know much about them. So, but actually, I think I've even seen some new that are $200, $300, but it's not something I'm looking for, I guess, or haven't been. So I just assume that's standard price was 200, 250, something like that. I've even seen them used for like under $100 before. So, granted, maybe it was $120 gun new. I have no idea. You know what I mean? I just assume they were cheaper unless you got like a fancy model or I don't know. I guess a higher end brand or something.
But they are chunky little guns. The recoil on them, I'll say, there's less grip, so it's not a direct comparison. But my model 360, the Airweight 357, hurts a lot more with 357 mag in it than that Bond Arms did.
G-Web says, my 2 cents, Bond Arms are good folks, female owned, innovative, make a strong gun, and they seem like happy people every time I have dealt with them on location, and they attend a lot of real life events. So there you go.
Female owned is interesting.
Right?
How many firearm manufacturers are female owned? Does anybody have any idea on that? Just out of curiosity. Not that there's any reason a female couldn't own one or something, but you know what I mean? I don't know. It's the first I've heard of that. So seems interesting.
Patriot in the Dark says, tell Rob he's looking at those Cobra Derringers. And
Probably in New York is probably one of them drop guns, and I should be lucky there's not duct tape on the handle, right?
One of the interesting things, let me turn my camera on. Oops. This is the target. This is from 10 feet away, and they all keyholed. And I don't know if you can. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to see it, but there's really small holes that have to be like unburned powder. It pushed through the paper.
Have you ever gotten into those gel blocks, or
No.
can you come up with your own meat target? I'm curious what that would do expansion-wise, in a sense. Obviously, if you keyhole, it wouldn't expand as well, but maybe you could test what distance fits in there. Might be some video ideas or something, or expired piece of meat from work or wherever. I have no idea, whatever. But out of curiosity, could be interesting to see there.
Could be. I probably never do it.
No? All right. throwing an idea out there. I mean, I think in some cases, keyholing might be a good thing, because in certain calibers, rounds don't expand the best, especially if powders aren't being burned all the way. So, I mean, yeah, never know.
The sights are awful on it, so it is a belly gun. You are up close when you use it. You're not, you're not going to
So-
shoot 20 yards.
Have you guys heard of this company? It's called
Netflix? Yeah.
the Ballistic Dummy Lab. They
No.
have different.
No.
You can get, dude. These guys have some crazy. You can get like the ballistic gel heads. You can get hands. So they like. It looks like they have little bones in them and everything.
I mean, that's a good idea, putting bone or something comparison to that in gel blocks. I mean, that's kind of, I personally don't really like gel blocks. It gives you an idea, I think, but it's, you're lacking usually clothing. I mean, every shot isn't a gut shot where it's just, skin and muscle in a sense. It,
You
you're
can
going to
get
hit
them.
bones. So,
You can get them like this, where they have like the full body.
yeah, for like what, $600?
Is that a sex doll? What is
No,
it?
these are ballistic gels that have like bones in them, like a skull and everything. Like they even have like little organs and crap, so you can like
So
see.
$2,000. Okay.
That ballistic gel person is $7,000.
Foolish me.
You can get a leg for $450. You can get just a head, but yeah, you can get females. I mean, that are truly
$7,000 target.
a $7,000 target.
The Chinese are laughing at us. They're like, shit, we'll just grab somebody from the jail, you stupid Americans.
Right? You can get like here. Or you can get 4 payments of $500, $2,000. But look how realistic these things friggin' look.
That's cool. I could definitely see that medical purpose. That's probably why the price is so much in a sense, because more than likely it's some type of training thing or something. You know what I mean? The average guy isn't buying that. I haven't seen one of these on YouTube.
They actually were shooting these, I guess, according to the gun stop. They were shooting these at the Gundies. I mean, look. I mean, the skull that's in there.
He looks so sad.
I wonder if they would friggin' like donate one of these so you could shoot it.
If they're charging $7,000, I doubt it.
Yeah, I was gonna say might donate it to like a really, really large event just to get it seen and out there by all the people in the industry, but I doubt that's a normal thing.
But yeah, you can get you can get one that has like a brain in it or a liver.
I think these are cool, but again, it's not very practical cost wise.
Well, the liver's only $225.
Doesn't matter. Like you can probably pay a crackhead to shoot him for $225. Like, give him the money first, he'll probably take the deal. So I don't know.
I see Ozzy says that he's finally off work. Rich says you can buy Jello and a plastic skeleton for about $50 and make your own.
Yeah, use an animal skeleton or something you could probably get from somewhere a hell of a lot cheaper and all that. So, seems more than likely, I'm guessing it's one of them training things and probably medical and different fields, and that's probably why the prices are jacked so much up. Jacked so high. So
it possibly could be.
a lot
Walter
of things
said,
are that way.
Walter says my budget is a couple pounds of tannerite and a broken refrigerator. $7,000 is off limits. Hey, you can get away with it one time before your wife finds out. Oh, oops. I ain't getting away with it. The wife just found out. Defense Dad says they use them on forged in fire. G-Web says if Idiot TV and YouTubers use them, they can charge anything they want. Yeah. So.
Might be a line of work to get into, fellas.
I only thought of that because you asked about ballistic gel, and then I was like, oh yeah, shit, I saw that once before.
Yeah, whenever it gets like a medical tag or some type of training tag, the prices always seem to jump up. Not saying for sure that's the case, but that's what I'm assuming is the case with it.
So, you gonna watch the Cougars game later, Foss?
I don't know. Depends on if I'm up.
Of course, I won't be watching sports ball.
It also
I hope
depends
to
on
be
if
playing in the Cougars game, though.
If it's on the stupid Pac-12 channel, I don't get the stupid Pac-12 channel because
It's on Pac-12 North. Both
DirecTV.
Washington games are.
So I can only watch like maybe two. When they were good, ESPN would play them, but now it's like Fox for Apple Cup, and then maybe one other one, but yeah.
FS1 has the Beavers on right now. Defense Dad says ballistic gel, just shoot spam. It's cheaper.
Yeah, probably is. Be a better simulation. In some sense, it's just either the metal, it's some kind of obstruction. And honestly, I'm happy with the meat target. I think that's fairly decent representation in a sense. So almost I'd take that over the ballistics gel. I think, personally, maybe not the gel with, actual bone and stuff in it or something like that. But
I think they both have their uses. The gel isn't a one for one, equal to a person, but it shows you a more, you can see the wound cavity, you can see the path the bullet took, you can see it's a more optimal medium for expansion to see, how well that projectile can expand under optimal conditions. The meat
So-
target is, an analog for a living thing.
Did you guys, or do you guys watch? I think it's Tactical Tools.
No.
So he did a comparison yesterday. The 40 Smith & Wesson versus the 10 mil, and he was running Nosler 180 grain, 10 mil and 40, and he was shooting it out of a Glock 22 into ballistic gel, and the 40 went about an inch further in the gel and retained more of the shape. It opened up, but he's like, well, the 10 mil opened up further, yeah, but it also lost a pedal, so it didn't retain as much of the original weight. So the 40, I believe, definitely outperformed the 10 mil, and there's video proof of it.
Well, I didn't see the video, so it depends on how you look at it. Because with the deeper penetration, you get more penetration. With that shallower penetration, it may have dumped all its energy sooner within that object, so it transfers more energy into that object, whereas the 40 might have penetrated more, but didn't release that energy all at once like the 10 millimeter.
Yeah, if you look at
separating pedals isn't always necessarily a bad thing. I mean, because you already created one decent sized wound cavity and dumping the energy as it splits apart. Now it's hurting other vital things to help shut things down quicker. Because in the end, unless you're hitting, the heart, the brain, it takes time in a sense for things to occur. So most people die of actual blood loss. So the messier it can be, the better in some cases. So it all, like he said, it all depends how you look at it, where the energy was dropped. So it doesn't necessarily a clean hole. Yeah, you have that hydroshock in a sense factor, but isn't always necessarily going to bring you to an end quicker.
Yeah, I mean, if you looked at the 10 did dump its energy a lot quicker.
Dude, we know you're just going to be a 40 boy. You are a 40 boy. So it doesn't matter what we say to try to counter this. You're always, we got the 40 kicks ass. We know. Glock 40, baby.
Watch the video, and you'll see that the wound cavity was actually a little bigger on the 40. But again, yeah, you can get more powerful 10 millimeters rounds. If you're going to use a buffalo bore, or there's some other ones that are loaded way better, and you're going to get a better performance. But when you're trying to compare two different rounds, especially a 40 and a 10, you're going to want to be okay, well, I'm running, the same grain weight. You'd want to kind of keep at least the same manufacturer. because each manufacturer is going to have different things. So unless you could get like 40 cal buffalo bore, you know, you wouldn't want to be like, oh well, I'm going to shoot, 10 mil buffalo bore versus running a 200 grain versus, oh, I'm going to run a 165 grain 40. They'd be like saying, okay, well, I'm going to stack a 180 grain 40 up against a 115 grain 9 millimeter and say that, let's compare these,
Well, and there's also, how many times did he run the test? Was that just a weak loaded round? So if you fire it once, it might not be true to the average. Whereas, if you did it 100 times or 1,000 times, then you get a better average on your statistical data.
Very true. Were both rounds chrono?
Yes. He did the chrono before he shot the ballistic gel.
Did it pass through the chrono into the gel, or did he chronograph the box and then shoot the gel?
Because he chronographed.
You could still have a weak round.
He chronographed a couple rounds from each one, and then he went and shot the ballistic gel separately. They were not the same.
So that's not saying much. I mean, yeah, it's close, but if you want to be precise, you can't get precise on that.
Because he's saying this is what these rounds should do based on the limited testing he did through the chronograph, but you could still have an odd round that is, so the whole data is faulty. You need to throw the whole test out.
Yeah. Well, if you want to be specific, he's right.
I would kind of agree with Patriot that when you see people want to see the same grain weight in different when they're comparing different calibers, but a 9 millimeter casing holds less powder than a 10, so you can't run like 180 in both, and it should be more what's the most popular weight to compare the two rounds. I think it's not it's not a 1-to-1 comparison, but you're not doing a 1-to-1 exactly. You're doing how does this in its realm compare to that in that's realm.
I agree to that. Makes sense.
I put Rick White's comment on the screen for you guys.
Yeah, I'm just calling an apple, man. Yeah, shit, I'm a 9 guy. I don't need to step up to 10. Yeah, but there, it is what it is. Just because, the Glock guy watched the video doesn't mean 40's king. Okay.
And there you go. Rick Stevens has the same. 40 and 10 both have the same 180 grain bullet as the most common.
That's what I have, 180 for both my 40 and 10.
So I feel everything has its limitations, their ideal settings or purposes. It's knowing how to use what you have, what's good for you all around. And that's different in different places for different people. So, yeah. I don't knock you 10 guys that I got to compensate for something. Or you 40 guys that, feel the need to be different. I don't knock you guys. To each their own.
I got 2 kids. I don't need to compensate for nothing.
G Webb says, what is worse, 10 millimeter abuse or 9 millimeter abuse or 10 millimeter denial?
I don't know. Just waiting for the day everybody's walking around with pocket cannons, like, I don't know, freaking 30, 40 millimeter freaking guns in their pocket. Like, 10 millimeter. Look at this. But bigger has got to be better to some people. It blows my mind. No care on follow shots, rounds, or whatever. But again, everybody lives in different places. So maybe in your area, it's rare to have people beating on your door in the middle of the night, or crackheads or junkies and all this stuff. But some places it's common for 3 or 4 people to try to corner you on the way out. A lot of times, they don't push it too far. Sometimes it turns into a robbery. So, and they got friends too. So, it's different strokes for different folks. Unless you're a Glock guy, then you're just wrong.
Walter says 9 is a go along to get along. 10 and 40 make a statement. Look at me. And Patriot says, oh, Rob's going to bring up his spandex wrestling again. Ozzy's the only one that brought up a valid argument. That is why I don't really like the 10 right now. There's only a couple of good companies that are actually putting out like a true 10 millimeter. Ozzy says most 10 millimeter is underpowered because of the experience that the FBI had with it. I'm an Underwood fan. And Underwood puts out a damn good 10 millimeter round.
But those 10 mil guys, they don't care because they're like, it's still 10 mil, baby.
And so, unless you're running like Underwood or you're running like Buffalo Bore, some of your, true 10 mil rounds, all you're doing is paying extra money for it's an overpriced 40. That's all it is. It's an overpriced 40.
Box of cereal with half of it being empty as soon as you open it. Bag of chips. It's all air. It's all air, folks.
Sergeant Joe says the 58 openly on the thigh says you better hold the door and say please and thank you. So we have definitely gone down way too many damn different rabbit holes on this show tonight. Is Defense Dad off work yet?
I don't think so.
I know he was
complaining that he was sick at work.
What are you going to do about work? You bring it up earlier, but what are you going to do? You're going to go down there and have some words with your boss, or just going to take it on the chin?
Nope. I'm going to be making sure I get some pay.
All right. Just checking. I know, you used to be hard. You used to be gangster. You might have gotten soft on us. I don't know.
Oh, Walter. He says cigarette butts, plastic straws, and 9 mil cases will kill the earth. Well, Rob, you're gonna have to get up to a different caliber. I mean, everyone's on your ass about 9.
It's all right.
I mean, you can still
I'm
stick
used
with
to it.
you can still stick with an M&P because the M&P does make a 40. I'm just saying, you can stick with your M&P and go to an M&P 40.
No. Well, too invested to do that now.
Oh,
About that backpack you did. Any more news on that? Not that I'm trying to change the subject, like,
but you're trying to change
but
this.
not because of the 9mm stuff. I could care less. So.
No,
But
I haven't put a whole lot of
yeah.
thought into it. I need to kind of decide how I want to set it up. You know, I was thinking about, having it as like a 3-day or, a bag that could be in the car. Like, oh crap, something happens and you're stranded somewhere. You have a bunch of supplies in there. I haven't really completely thought about it.
That's why I like 10mm right there.
Oh
boy. Feel bad for your wives. Now, what's the deal? How come? All right, now I don't want to seem cruel or anything or whatever, but let's just look at some numbers here. Statistically, a lot of Americans are a little bit on the bigger side. How come none of these companies are making bags for bigger people? Because it seemed like comfort is a big issue. Like especially if you gotta hike home 30 miles or something, like comfort's a big freaking deal, dude. Like how you carry your weight is either gonna make or break your trip. Like, I don't know how.
now,
Not saying it's a load bearing pack or this or that, but still, like, I don't know how much hiking you've done, but shit, a regular bag could screw me up. If the straps are bad or not, it's hot conditions, this and that, you'll get tore up. So, it makes a difference.
Now, I can say the straps are really damn nice. And there's on the back of the bag, which I was kind of trying to show, but it didn't really show very well. There's a nice padded area. So I haven't put a whole lot of weight in it to see, if it's going to stay where.
Dude, you just described every bag, even including the ones at Walmart. That doesn't mean shit. What about it? What ventilation is done differently for you to breathe? What's with the straps? It's actually going to help with the weight. Come on, man. Come on. Give me more.
Yeah. So I haven't put a bunch of weight in it to find out, how will it feel when you actually have weight in it? Because like you were saying, back in the day, going to middle school and you had like 35 pounds of school books in there, your bag felt different than when it was empty.
Huge difference. But just out of curiosity, because I'm just saying it, I think it would be nice if companies focus on that, or like the comment I left in that, where they, a company has where you can attach, with clips or whatever, extra length to your strap so you can actually wear it comfortably. You know what I mean? Instead of struggling to get a good grip on it, because now you're dedicated to one area, which is wicked high on your back, and depending what load you have in there, that might be awkward as hell. So it'd be nice to see, little extra straps wouldn't kill a company, I don't think, but yet it would accommodate a lot of people. And then if you're kind of in between or don't really need the straps, those same straps could switch over to tie gear on your bag. So, it could just be something that comes with the bag. How you use it is on the user. But honestly, Yeah, if somebody steals that idea, you don't owe me no money. But it'd be nice to see it out there because something like that I think would be ideal. And doesn't seem like it would be that expensive to do. I mean, I've made my own slings for $3 a piece. You know what I mean in the past. So I don't, the strapping and clips. If I could do that for that price, I'm sure they could do it cheaper. So I don't understand. Yeah, I think these companies need to kick up their game. But
So, Rob, Patriot in the Dark has a comment for you.
uh,
I gotta get my cord, or otherwise I'll be getting kicked out of this stream real quick.
MP40 for I'm assuming a wood AK, huh? I glue the hell out of some popsicle sticks. Everybody just get quiet.
I think he's talking about a New York compliant AK.
I don't know. I think he's referring to a conversation we've had in the past.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he could be. And Patriot in the Dark does have a good point, too. That 90% of the people just are going to have a hard time just carrying him, period.
Carrying bags?
Carrying a bag like what? Like that backpack? People would have a hard time just carrying it from their car to their house, not let alone trying to actually trek this one on.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people probably, I don't know. A lot of the gear is probably bought by people that really never use it to its potential. I definitely agree with that.
What are you yelling damn it about? Popeye's chicken?
Yep.
So here you are, you're bitching and moaning on Rick's Life as I see it about, oh, you need to eat salad, you need to eat salad. I think maybe once or twice on this show have I ever seen you eat a salad.
Bologna. I'm always eating salad.
You got like pizza or steak or...
Cajun fries.
He says, Rob knows what wood AK I'm talking about. Of course, he's probably forgot.
I haven't forgotten.
He hasn't forgot. He just doesn't think you're worth the time and effort to actually make a prototype.
Now that's messed up.
Oh. You did say you were going to make a prototype.
I think this is turning to CNN again.
I'm pretty sure I can pull up that chat.
We're talking about different things, though.
The wood AK stand?
The display stand, I do have basically a prototype of, so I just haven't continued out for the AK. But I was kind of a little disappointed to see somebody had an AK on the AR one, and that worked just fine for it too. And honestly, didn't look that funny, so it kind of discouraged me from making a whole separate market. But it didn't. I still plan to. Like, it's there. I just haven't completed a jig for it yet. He's talking about something totally different. So, which I honestly wouldn't mind helping him out with. It's just having time to do so, in a sense. So, and like I referred in that question, if he sent me just a block with a pattern and this and that and said, I need this, I could, that's not a problem. But for me to mimic the exact angles, everything that he wants from a picture off the internet is going to be a little harder and take more time for me. Which I could do, but honestly, it's not practical at the end of the season with everything backed up and working on personal projects. And, I'm just being honest. So, it's not that I don't care. Okay. Well, no, you want to be an asshole? No, now I got to put it all out here. Okay. I like Patriot, damn it.
Oh. Wow. I just decided I was going to give you a bad time. And
damn Glock guys, Can I eat my chicken? Jesus.
Are you going to start with the breast first, or are you going to go to the thigh?
Let's start with one of them little leg things, just because they're quick and easy.
Everybody's kind of laughing at you now.
Oh, some good people out there. They feel my pain.
So I take it Rich White is not doing his show because it should have already started. So. What the
So was
hell?
the Nighthawk medic out there still? Or he take off earlier?
I think he took off.
He reappeared and then disappeared again. Now he's lurking. What's going on here, buddy?
I cannot answer for him.
You didn't send him pictures of your last naked fight, did you?
It was your spandex fight.
Well, that explains why he's not coming back. Jeez.
Your spandex fight drove him off.
There we go. I like that idea.
Oh, now that's funny. I don't care what you think. But the kind of wrestling Rob was talking about earlier, I'd have thought he'd started with the S. And you say I'm the one being mean to you. At least I said, thigh or breast.
I'd expect nothing less from that rich guy.
Or this one. Oh, yep. This has gone into a dumpster fire. Come on, Rob. Come up with some topic that can keep us from a all-out dumpster fire.
Well, could research women's firearm manufacturer owners, things like that, see what percentages are, if anybody's curious, just because that was an interesting thing to me about buying arms. Could try to figure out why Glock guys got to compensate for everything. That would be a little heart-touching. Turn into a Hallmark show. I don't know if you want to go through those steps. Jeez. Or we could talk about what's your favorite fast food chicken. Yeah, we take this all different ways. We could rehearse what you're going to say to your boss. And if he starts giving you lip, how you're going to deal with that.
So, I've pulled up the gun industry in America. Center for American Progress. And I do not believe they say a damn fucking thing. Yeah, they're just talking about more and more legislation that they think should go into.
The story that Walter Davis put out in the chat about the Stalin and the chicken. I had heard a similar one, slightly different, where it was a small bird, and he plucked all the feathers out and held it in the hand, and then said, "See how grateful it is for the warmth of my hand." Once it had stripped everything away from it.
Politician for you.
Defense Dad says, you guys are going to make Rob mad, and he's going to spend the rest of the evening hiding in his Honda. Even my wife laughed at that. Oh. And the best chicken place is Bojangles.
I wasn't impressed.
Did you try the sides? The dirty rice, fried okra, mac and cheese, the biscuits.
Can't remember.
Well, it sounds like you need to go to Bojangles.
Yeah, go to a chicken joint for the sides.
Hey, all of it goes with the meal. Defense Dad says, I'm bored at work. That's a bad thing. Walter says it's his old lady's Honda. He drives a truck. Rob, are you going to defend yourself against that comment?
Well, come on, I have to. I mean, I appreciate what Walter's doing for me, but that may not be 100% true.
Yeah, the truck is hers.
She'd like to claim it as so.
Rich, Rob could only wish he had a Model T truck.
Nah, it's too far back. I'm happy with what I got. That's the difference. I don't have to go into debt to impress everybody else for a work truck.
He says, I didn't say it was in good condition.
It's a 9mm thing, you know? We don't care about that type of stuff. As long as it gets the job done.
Walter says, Rob is a skilled contractor. We don't know how skilled he is. He can put on a roof, okay. I'll give him that. We haven't seen him do any videos of wiring or drywalling. We've seen those videos from Bald and Curious.
All that's been done in my videos. And some
Has
of
it?
them- Yeah, I don't go through step by step and show you, but before and afters.
Okay,
but
so
yeah.
yeah, I've seen some of those.
And honestly, I wouldn't be the best teacher because I'm not like the safety Nazis. I prefer, if it's a household, I'd rather do it live, personally, in most cases. So everybody freaks out. It's not a big deal. Like, you screw up, you get shocked. That's what happens. You're on a roof, you fall, you get hurt. That's what happens. So don't screw up. Know what the hell you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't be doing it. It's pretty simple. So, yeah, every once in a while an accident happens. But I tell you what, you get called to some of these slumlord places and got an issue, you're never going to find that breaker without shutting every apartment down. But you can cut it and trip that baby real quick and know exactly what the hell you got to deal with. Like, you know, there's just different ways of going about things. But I wouldn't be the best because I'm not going to go tell you to go turn the power off. I mean, if you're a pussy or that scared, you're in the wrong line of work.
Well, and 110 isn't too horrible. I've been shocked by 110.
What's being drawn off it that matter. You know, if you're working on 220 with dryer, things like, you're going to feel that shit. But, you know, most cases, you're okay. It all depends on what type of building and what services you're dealing with. So when you get into commercial, that's a total different ballgame. You better lock shit out or you're an idiot. Like, you know, because if you do make that screw up, your arm's going to blow the hell off or something. You know what I mean? Like, or get burns on all your joints, or, you know, it might literally blow your leg or arm right the hell off. So, if you're lucky. So that's a different ball game, but yeah.
So, Patriot in the Dark is heading out. So have a good night, Patriot. And G Web says, pro tip, if you lick your fingers and only touch a wire real quick, you can just grab a wire. Yeah. Like I've done where you change out your plug, your outlets,
Receptacles.
your outlets and your lights without having to, you know, turn the damn power off.
What'd you replace them with?
Newer fixtures and newer outlets.
At what amperage?
The same that was in there. Your standard.
You're sure?
He doesn't know.
Exactly. I'm not a fucking contractor.
Yeah, well, that's step number one. You fucked up. So, yeah, you want to rate those to the line it's on, the breaker it's off from. So if it's 15, 20, so yeah, there's a difference, or else it depends whether that breaker's going to trip or your outlet's going to light up.
Well, you get the one that you have in there. You just look at it. It tells you all that information.
Lord help me. You better move quick.
It wasn't this. It wasn't. It was in a different house.
The one that burned down.
It was back in Washington.
Yeah, it's a little tip if you're looking at talking about tips. If you got like a microwave outlet or something and the plug just kind of wants to melt in place or burn up, you probably got the wrong receptacle in there.
Sergeant Joe says, my shop outlets are 20 amp orange hospital grade isolated ground.
Yeah, I think when it comes, oh, excuse me. Whew, got a spicy part. When it comes to electric or gas, if you don't know what you're doing, leave it alone, man. Leave it alone. One of them things, you know. You don't know what you don't know, and little things can create issues and be a big problem, especially if you're a company or doing it as a service or something. Yeah, you got to be careful. So, you know, and you'll see some crazy stuff like shit completely wired backwards, like, and you know. That's in home sometimes, you know what I mean? Or 3 lines in the one breaker. You'll come across all types of shit. So if you're not sure, just call somebody else, or you know what I mean? Like, that's one of them things. Changing outlets and switches. It's in theory, yes, it's very simple, but you got to match everything up. You know, it's not just go to the store and pull a pack off the shelf. You know what I mean? You can get away with it, but there's consequence, there's risk to it. So. And all that little stuff adds up to be a big problem, or could in the end. But, you know, same with gas. If you're not, it sounds simple, but you can get hurt pretty damn quick, or set yourself up to be sued, or, you know, a tragedy at a place. So those things, I think it's different than rewiring your headphones or something. Yeah, it's a total different ball game.
Yep, I've seen like some of the houses we've been looking at, and you know how you get the dual switch. So one, you got the light switch that at each end of the room.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that, okay, the switch should, if you have them both up, or it should, if it's off, it should be off, and if it's on, it should be on. Yeah, I've seen some of them where you flip it to off and the light turns on, you flip it to on and the light turns off. It's like, dude, what the fuck were you doing? Yeah, I'm not going to waste my money on here because I'm going to have to go through and either do it myself or hire somebody to fucking do it. And since I don't trust that you screwed up you did one outlet right, that means everything in there is going to have to be checked.
You can buy testers pretty cheap. That's one thing, like if people are looking at a home or something like that or whatever, I think they're like, what, $12 or something like that, where you can just plug it in a receptacle and it's going to tell you if it's wired right. Like I still use them. I use it for peace of mind for the customer. You know what I mean? Honestly, that's the only reason I do it. Other than that, I'm not too concerned because normally you can figure something out. But basically, to verify that yes, your outlet's all set. There you go. Boom, wired correct. All good. And they smile. They're happy, and you're good to go. So their brother next week isn't saying some bullshit that whatever. Who knows? But it's just a good visual reference. But that's also helpful if you're going around other places. So. I've seen outlets that were regular outlets wired with 220 somehow, and then people wonder why all their appliances and everything keeps burning up in them. You know what I mean? Like, you can find all types of weird things people do sometimes, or no grounds, and I don't know. I don't even understand how people do some of the stuff they do sometimes, but people do it, especially old houses where you got 2 different families. 3 different families that all got an Uncle Jimbo that knows a little bit. And I mean, holy crap. You'll open up a box and it'll look like a bowl of spaghetti. And you're like, damn, like, I hate those. Like, I'd rather just cut everything and run new wire because, damn, you spend a lot of time. And then people are looking at you like an idiot. Like you don't know what you're doing. Like, you got to figure out all this shit. Like, they don't get it. It's a pain in the ass. And half the wiring's dead because they never even took it out, in some cases. So, or you think it's dead.
Rich White says he's at bailing, so have a good night.
Must be time for his Grey Poupon.
That should have started quite a while ago. His wrestling chat should have started a while ago. So, I wonder if the side chat has anything for us to discuss, or we gonna go down some other crazy topic.
I'm curious what the hell happened to the price of boxers. Like $22 for a regular pack of like Hanes or something. Like, what the hell's going on here? It hasn't been that long since I bought more boxers, but
I was gonna say, dude, the last time I bought them, they were like $14.99 for a pack. They're 20-something bucks.
Yeah, it was $22 or something like that. Couldn't believe it. Like, what the hell?
Woman, when was the last time we bought boxers? Earlier this year? Yeah. When I bought new underwear. Wasn't it like earlier this year? Yeah, it was like, it had to have been like $15 for a deal of boxers. And now Rob D is saying that they're like $23, $23 a deal of boxers. Oh, did you hear that, Rob?
No.
She says they're $23 because you live in New York.
Maybe.
I mean, I guess, you know, it could be your area. Damn it, Rob. Now I'm going to have to friggin' go look at what boxers cost for the next time I'm at the goddamn store.
No, keep an eye out. Because my lady was going to grab me a pair or a pack one time. And then she seen the prices were like 20 some odd bucks when she was at the store. And she was like, oh, what the hell? Like, and then, so I ended up getting a pair or a pack somewhere else. And then, basically back at the store and I'm looking for stuff and it's like $22 for a pack. So I don't know if that's just like just starting to be the normal thing or what.
Huh. Boss, do you guys sell boxers at your store?
No.
Okay. Ozzy says, welcome to socialism.
Well, I'd like to opt out, please.
Right? I mean, who knows? But
Guys got any plans for Labor Day?
Might go to the zoo.
I figured you'd go to the Puyallup Fair.
No, probably won't go this year.
What kind of zoo do you have? Decent size? AZA accredited?
I guess it all depends on which one he goes to. I mean, if he goes to like Point Defiance
Yeah, Point Defiance.
or Northwest Trek, yeah, there's like a few different ones over in his area. Point Defiance is pretty cool.
It is. It's not huge, but you know, you can spend the day with your kids there.
I tried to have it rotated.
So it's
I
good
don't know.
times.
They've
I really
got-
like.
Somebody told me they've got hammerhead sharks there now, and they redid part of the aquarium part. So go check it out.
Well, video some of that and put it out there. People might want to see that.
Yeah, zoos are cool. A lot of that, especially like the aquariums and all that type of stuff. But a lot of that stuff's pretty neat.
Yeah, they've got.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's been a few years since we've gone, but in the warmer months, they've got an enclosure with budgies. So you go in and then you buy these little popsicle sticks with food on them. And you hold them up and they'll come over, fly over, eat off the sticks, land on you and all that.
So not too far from me, there's a safari where you have to stay in your damn car and drive through, and the animals roam free. But
Those are always funny videos.
The Portland? Is that what you're talking about?
no,
Stay in your car?
But they never do.
that's a whole different safari in Portland.
You guys got any fairs coming up? State fairs? Anything like that?
Yeah, that's what the Puyallup Fair is now, the state fair. it's always basically been the state fair because it's the largest one in the state, but they finally just said a few years ago it's the state fair now.
And it's always the Puyallup Fair to me.
Yeah, I still call
Going?
it that. Probably
heard of
not.
that?
Probably not
It's-
go this year.
It's what,
It's
20 days long?
yeah, it's like basically a whole month now. Used to just be 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think the advertisement on the radio down here for your guys' damn fair was saying 20 days.
Yeah,
Or
that's
that.
kind of runs all month, but there's days in there where they're closed.
Extended hours. I think it's just to kind of spread out the flow so it doesn't get
Yeah.
as crowded. But that hasn't really been an issue the last couple of years anyway. So not since they changed the contract of who they do it with and this and that. So there's a lot of issues here for a while.
I go for the
Fair
scones.
circle. You go for what?
The scones, the Fisher scones.
I like the food, man. Funnel cake, sausage, peppers, and onions. They got the candy. They got the Dots ice cream. Like, man, there's so much good smelling food. Of course, half of it tastes like shit when you actually get it, but it smells good.
Yeah, when you're a kid, you want to do the rides and the games, and then your parents drag you through the exhibits and stuff. And now I drag my kids through the exhibits because I want to look at them.
You should hear how they pronounce Puyallup down here. It is fucking hilarious.
Like Puyallup.
Uh-huh. Yep. It is just funny. Of course, I guess not a whole lot of people know how to pronounce the Umpqua Basin, you know.
No, I've got a sore back in one spot. A couple of those rides, I think, line up in the same spot in my back. Like all the seats are just tiny, like I don't know, 12 inches or something like that. The backs of the seats in some of these rides, and when you're getting thrown around, all that stress just seems to be hitting the same damn point. So I had a spot where it felt like I got punched in the back after going myself. But
So,
all in all, enjoyable. Good time, get out.
how much trouble did you get into by your woman for filming that?
None. Like, she didn't even realize I was filming it when I was filming it, which was hilarious because, she wouldn't open her eyes. So.
Yeah, but you put it on the internet. She's got to be able
I
to
know.
see it.
I know. And I put it, like, I got it all together. And then I was like, babe, come check this out. And then she came to look at it. And she was like, oh, you son of a bitch. I was like, you all right with that? She was like, yeah, all right. And I was like, I couldn't use the best part anyway in the short. And that's actually in the fair video because the phone flipped, but it didn't get it. Like, the frame didn't flip. People get what I'm saying. So it was still like a non-short video format in a sense.
Yeah, you were in portrait instead of landscape.
Yeah, and man, it cracks me up. Like I could not watch that without laughing my ass off. I mean, we're going around at the bottom, and she's like, "What the fuck is going on?" Freak. Well, I don't know. You paid to get on the ride. What do you think's going on? I didn't say that, but it's just, oh man, it's hilarious. I find it hilarious. But no, I didn't get in no trouble for it. I think she's laughing about it to herself here yesterday, so pretty funny. But I gave it to her. She's brave. She knew she didn't like it, I guess. She said, and with Ruth, she's kind of funny. If I get anything too crazy, she's not doing it, or she'll stay on a boom lens. She won't certain things she's not messing with. So I didn't think she'd have such an issue, but yeah, she didn't like that shit.
So, Dead Horses out there saying everybody thumb up the video. It does help, guys. So, and welcome Dead Horse. I know he's I think him and his family are just now getting over the Rona. So,
Wish everybody luck there. And just for the record, boss, I didn't force anybody on the damn ride, okay? So everybody out there, some Mr. Meanie and all this crap. I say, you want to do the Ferris wheel? She's like, oh, all right. And then we got there. Even she was like, it didn't seem that high up until we got up there. It's like, yeah, that's heights. I didn't force her, and I didn't rock the boat either. Like a jerk would have done.
It seemed like you were torturing her quite a bit with the duct tape and the Gorilla Glue.
That's just good ribbon right there. That's but I wasn't shaking it or nothing like that.
But I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. So Rob D, give us your closing plugs.
All right. Well, obviously, there's R&L Displays. If anybody's interested in supporting American-made product made by yours truly, that's there. There's some discount codes out there. G23 has one. Let's see. Besides that, I'd say check out everybody that popped in the panel. Obviously, look around. Don't be a dumbass. Eat a salad. Subscribe to my channel if you like. Avoid Glocks. Thanks for joining us.
Mr. Foss, you got anything you want to say?
I will here in just a second. Sorry.
And yes, go to R&L Displays, use code G23, you get 15% off. Or if you want, you can use code Rick's Life. Or I think Gizzard Gary has one. I'm not sure what Travis P11, if he has one or not. So any of those work. Just remember G23 is the shortest one out there. So it does save you a hell of a lot of typing.
So there were links a little bit earlier for people that were on the chat. There's a link for R&L Displays. Hopefully I got it right. And then check out anybody that's been out in the side chat, see what they got going on, or better yet, start making videos yourself, because you never know who wants to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. And I'm going to close this out with the same way I opened it, by a designed intro, outro by Mr. DM Foss. So enjoy, everyone. Be safe, and have a great holiday weekend.
In a world of uncertainty and turmoil, one man stands alone, along with his faithful sidekick. A man who entertains and educates the masses weekly, 70% of the time. Born out of the dusty plains of Washington State, now from the coastal forests of Oregon. The man, the myth, the man, G23.